Futures back to the downside right now. We are starting higher, however, after yet another negative showing yesterday. We are dealing with the Fed today, coming up at 2 p.m. Make sure you're with us. We'll come on a little bit early this afternoon. They're not going to move interest rates, but it'll be really interesting to see what Fed Chair Powell has to say about the not only the current economy and the conditions that we're dealing with, but some of these tariff talks. I'm sure all of the questions and attention going to be surrounding tariffs and what that will mean for the economy going forward. So 2 p.m. we'll get no change. It'll be held steady, but then 2:30, the press conference coming up this afternoon. Before that, there is some energy data coming out 10:30 this morning. It's Wednesday, obviously, so we'll get oil inventories. But yeah, that's how the market's setting up here this morning so far. We chopped around most of the afternoon. Everyone was probably watching that Nvidia live stream and not really paying attention to the market clearly because not a lot happened. We went up, we went down. Individual stocks were kind of moving around as far as anytime Jensen mentioned an individual stock, it would go up and then right back down again. But a lot to discuss as far as what came from that yesterday. We'll touch on Nvidia here, but yeah, kind of a quiet start here.
Yeah, quiet morning, Brendo, but a lot of announcements, as you mentioned, yesterday with GTC. Jensen coming on yesterday with the keynote, and he made quite a few announcements. We're getting multiple new chips. The Vera Rubin chip is going to be a CPU and a GPU together. They're going to drop the ARM-based CPU that they were using. We're going to get the Blackwell Ultra. That's coming up. We also heard about collaborations, Google, some others, General Motors as well, which also moved that stock briefly. So we'll talk about that. Tesla also in focus, Brendo, getting the nod from Cantor Fitzgerald. And Elon, that is, was on Hannity yesterday, kind of really trying to drive the case home, as well as Intel and Taiwan Semi. Some interesting comments coming out of there that there's really no interest by Taiwan Semi to take over the foundry business. So we'll have to wait to see more.
Which is a bit of a change in direction as far as what we were hearing going back a couple of weeks and months ago. California also coming out with a permit for Tesla for self-driving, so we'll keep an eye on Tesla today. Up nicely here, 2.66% to start, guys, ahead of Mr. Powell to come today. Good morning.
Yes. Powell Schmowell is right. Powell. Where's our Fed?
Who does it? Who does that on Seinfeld? Is it?
Is it George? One of the main characters that do that?
Uncle Leo.
Oh, Uncle Leo.
Uncle Leo, yeah. Who cares about
that? Was Del Boca Vista. We all got to go there. We all got to go for vacation to Del Boca Vista.
They're living the life. They got the happy hour.
Isn't that where you guys were in Florida there?
Actually, so I wish I would remember the name of the restaurant. So we came back from the beach one day, and there was one restaurant we went to, like, whatever, we'll check it out. They have like some like lobster, whatever, tail special that we both ended up getting. Mm-hmm. But we walked in and then realized I don't consider myself that young, but we were I'm talking by like a couple of decades, the youngest people in this whole. There was like live music that was playing.
What time was it? Like 4 p.m. Like were you going for the blue plate special there, Neil?
It was like 6:30. I thought it was reasonable time.
You have
after
kids,
the beach to eat dinner, but like everyone was a little bit
that's
older.
how you get the deals. I'd be all about that.
I guess it was because of whatever the special they had.
So what was the special? So you get a lobster tail?
It was like a stuffed lobster tail. It was like stuffed.
What are those? What does that go for there?
Oh, I don't.
$30.
I don't even remember. To be honest, like they said it was the special, and like we'll
the
just
blue
both
plate
get
special.
That.
See, you did get it.
And then I paid. It was our cheapest meal that week.
Nice.
We both had a drink. My daughter ate, and I think it came out to like, I think I spent like $70,
yeah.
70, $80. And we each had one drink. My daughter had a grilled cheese or something like that. But
grilled cheese.
We don't care about the Fed that much, except for the fact that you get a dot plot and comments on the comments on the economy. That's what I think you get a dot plot today. And then look, are they going to change the 2 cuts that we're expecting? Maybe you will. But I think the bigger deal would be if there's more negative comments about the economy in general. I think that could maybe be bad for us. But it might be a bounce day today. The market's kind of up. Tesla's actually up today. Nvidia's back up today.
Did you see on the bill if you had a seniors discount? I think that's a good point.
Ouch. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, there's someone there.
That's cold.
Millennium Styles wanted to know if you also got the seniors discount.
No.
Although I would have tried. I always try to ask them, like, do you get a cash discount? What do you? I'm always all about that kind of stuff.
That's a more reasonable one.
Yeah, I don't know about Tesla because I actually don't have. I'm like waiting to figure out what to do today. I don't know. Is it going to be a barcoding day here? Tesla looks like in the morning is trying to figure itself out. 233 down to 231, dancing around like this. I'm actually like, I don't want to call. It's hard to call bottoms, this, that, the other thing. But like this whoosh here on Google yesterday, that was pretty epic. Like that little, we don't really see tails like that anywhere here. Maybe the couple top tails, which signaled some downside play there. But that's pretty dramatic. Did we get anything like that on Meta or anything? I'm just trying to, Meta's the one that we talked about is still above the 200 period moving average. Amazon did have a recovery day. Yeah, that's a little bit of a gravestone down there. Normally it's a doji star up here and a gravestone down there. I'm just interested to see if we can maybe get a little bit of a bottom here. I don't want to, down as far as we've gone. Okay, so yeah, the S&P. So I'm almost thinking one more test of the bottom and then potentially looking to buy something again. I don't know. I've been, I wanted to dip by everything
always
on monthlies, but now it's almost like I'm getting the feeling to dip by every week, and that's not going to be right because we are going to be early. Look, we talked about this. Every 2 years, there's at least a 10% correction. That's kind of what we're in right now. So I don't think we're going to get into a bear market down 20%, but I mean, that could still happen. I was just wondering, so I was actually thinking about this last night, and I was talking with Marissa. Tell me what you think about this. Like Trump, conservative, right? Our current government here in Canada, liberal. And I'm just wondering if Trump does not negotiate at all with our current government and waits until our election, gets the conservatives in there, which I think is leading the polls now. I haven't really checked. I'm pretty sure they are in Canada.
Trusting the polls.
I know, but after Trudeau, will people still vote liberal? I mean, maybe. But then what I'm thinking is, if Carney goes in there now and gets a deal done, and everyone's like, wow, the market rallies, and this and that, then there's more likely that he's going to get some nice tailwinds, basically, heading into the election. But does Trump want that? Did he want another liberal government, or would he rather deal with conservatives for the next 4 years?
I think everything's going to get put off. I don't think
me too.
Like at the end of the day, like there's no mandate. When you're replacing a leader who stepped down and you weren't elected, generally speaking, I'm talking about what's happening in Canada here. I don't think anything is going to change, and that's why I think you got to wait. I think it's going to be like, I think we have choppy chop, 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 and tariff uncertainty for a while.
Yeah.
That's my guess, but who knows? The other thing is historically, not that anybody cares if you're in the U.S., but in the U.S., we have a strong tendency where the biggest province where we are, Toronto, in Ontario, if that is one way, so right now it's conservative, then nationally we're liberal, and then vice versa. It's like it's almost always over 90% of the time that way. So that would lead to maybe the liberals could win. But again, I think tariff uncertainty is not gone. I wouldn't be surprised if we had another like that. It doesn't mean you can't see temporary bounces. So I'm more of like the patient, stay the course. If you like something, I'd rather like DCA into it and try to call that bottom, because I still think we can have more uncertainty here.
Yeah, it's not. It's just more about, wow, I mean, we were just at the bottom 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to think that. No, I was just thinking, like, Carney's a super smart dude. Like, this guy's a banker. He's been here. He's been in England. He already has the plan. He got rid of the carbon tax there, Sharif, I think. Yeah, I know. It's like a little bit of a trickery there. But, so he's making some moves. So we'll see what winds up happening there. I don't think we will be the 51st state after all. Some of that rhetoric, I think, has sort of calmed down a little bit. Just go after Greenland, man. Make it orange land and get it over with. Like, we just have to forget about that and go on. Why not go after Iceland? I mean, that's really nice. They have flights into there, and
Iceland's doing really well.
No, leave us alone, man. Leave us alone. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what to think. I mean, the market right now is starting to head lower. Like, I mean, here's what we're seeing. Like, you're coming right back. I was really quite happy when we came in, thinking like, okay, we're near these highs. Can we retrace to VWAP? Yes. I thought maybe off the open. I wasn't hoping that this trend wouldn't continue here in the pre-market, but it looks like the market's just getting weaker and weaker here as we go. The imbalances, and then we'll throw it back over to the guys. The imbalances right now pretty small. We had 10 cent with a nice move overnight, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still holding. I haven't checked. Walmart. Ugh, god damn. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Darn, this is, I was looking at this at 75. I said 72 maybe as the bottom. We might be getting there a little quicker than I thought. Snapchat is now $8. Oh man, there's a lot happening. There's a lot of good prices down there. How was my guy Joe? How was my guy Joe yesterday?
Joe was, I mean, obviously,
I was hopping in the chat.
You know Joe. Tons of fun, obviously working with him, and then I was the first time I've actually sat next to him doing the show. Now, obviously we've had Obi, but yeah, Joe was a ton of fun, dropping some options.
Yeah, you couldn't even log in over here. Come on, guys.
I was gonna leave the login issues alone because
I mean, everyone should know how to log in.
No, but you should have seen the timing of it. We were doing the rundown.
Yeah.
And then literally as we were finishing it, I finished the last topic on the rundown.
Right.
Joe was miraculously logged in, like just instantly.
Nice one, Joe.
Like, I get it. You know, the rundown. Just saying.
What? It's not for you. I'm just saying, like, I'm surprised.
It happened, man. It happened.
So you were just sitting here with like nothing happening? That's why I was like, message Joe. We got it all figured out at the end of the day. So thanks, Joe, for the cover. Okay, look, we're ready to go, man. We have got a lot of ideas. The watch list is out today. Lots of interesting names. Quantum names on there. Tesla's on there.
Quantum Day tomorrow.
What is tomorrow?
Quantum Day.
Oh, tomorrow's Quantum Day. I see you had to get that banana in there. Well, that must have been from yesterday because Sharif had told me there was no bananas today, and I looked.
Told you my strategy.
Hey, what the hell? I thought this guy was still in Bahamas.
On Monday, I get myself my own banana, and then Randy brings that one, so I'm always one ahead. So no matter what, if I want one, I've got one. So I have two on the first day, eat one, and then I.
Okay. Well, we're.
So when there's none today, I get one. Just saying.
That's a nice move. I kept a banana here for a while, and I think it started to rot. So I didn't. I mean, I left it over here over the weekend.
Shoot! When did you?
That's what I'm saying. When did Raheem sneak in here?
He was hiding behind my screen.
OCI is now officially in the building, and Bahamas went well, obviously.
Green screen. I was here the whole time.
Yeah, he was here the whole time. You're in that hot tub again, I think maybe. All right, Raheem Alani's going to be here in a couple minutes, so we'll talk. What are we talking about today? You want to give a little sneak preview? Something about tariffs. It's like one of these new things in the market over the last couple of days, weeks, months.
There's tariffs. The market's going to be in trouble.
I don't know. I just want to know if I should buy Canadian Tire or not, because I saw Trudeau yesterday shopping around in Canadian Tire, so I thought maybe that might be something. Maybe it's a short then, that means. From
Yeah, I know he shops in Canadian.
Well, he posted a picture yesterday, and the thing is, because now I think he's divorced, or they're trying to figure that all out. So in his shopping cart yesterday, maybe I could find the picture, maybe we could find it. He had like all kitchenwares in there. He had like a spatula. He had like a toaster in his. Anyways, I don't know. Maybe he's going to be living in a dorm. That's what I'm saying. Maybe he's just in a one-bedroom apartment now. And we'll never hear from this guy again. That family has some money, so he'll be fine. Okay, let's go back over to the desk to Trudeau's biggest fans.
It's hilarious. No, I won't even go there. But anyway, Roku. I wanted to mention Roku real quick here. Popped up, big move actually, all the way to 71 here. Trump Media announcing the release of Truth Plus streaming on Roku. So Roku getting a nice pop on that. There was a little bit of a move as well for DJT on that as well. Came right back in, but we got up to 2055. So Trump Media announcing release of Truth Plus streaming on Roku. So not a lot of volume there, but worth a note.
It took a bit of a hit with this market downturn, Brendo. I'm talking about Roku. Good headline, obviously. We'll have to see how many viewers and users are actually using Truth Social. I know I've got it on my phone. Rarely use it. I go on to it when he tweets or he truths or whatever it's called. Yeah, so from the top there, 105, Brendo, that we put in mid-February to the low that we made yesterday, we're down a hearty 36%. So if you're interested in this company and if you feel that there's value, it's a good time to buy 67. We kind of held that level a few days. We'll have to see how this trades today.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we've been paying a lot of attention to over the past little while. Roku, I mean, it's typically one of those stocks we look at when they report earnings, and that's about it. But I don't know, guys, thoughts on Roku here today?
Roku, eh? Okay.
Well,
I haven't looked at it. I'm not gonna lie. What's
so
going on with Roku today?
I don't like the stock. And like we were talking yesterday about the consumer and certain things that might slow down. I was more talking about the streaming side of it. But you ask yourself, if we go into like a recession, you think these guys are recession proof? Anyone buying anything new? Anyone signing up for anything new? If we do have those concerns. So when those get heightened, this is not the bounce that I'd usually be looking for. It's like everything else. We've had the pullback. You're in your consolidated state. There's a lot of barcoding going on. Even Brian Shannon was talking about that last night. You see a lot of barcoding, especially off of the recent bottoms. But ultimately, it can always squeeze because it has that kind of potential. I look at like Meta holding its 50 period or 200 period. I look at the stocks like Google that are bouncing nicely as far as opportunities for catching some short-term longs. But yeah, this one, I guess if it breaks in either way, it looks good because of the volatility the stock usually has. But yeah, it's kind of on the pass side for me. I want things that I feel more comfortable about. If you have the higher probability of an economic downturn, if that were to happen, I'd rather buy things that I think would fare relatively well in this stage. Like you can wait till a little bit later to try to take shots at things like Roku. I've never actually owned one or used the service or anything like that, but yeah.
No, neither. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that. Glad Brian was there. So this is what I saw his tweet yesterday because tagged me. After the initial weakness, it's been a barcode day. He learned that from us here at Trader TV Live, and then he had a couple charts right here. So I just said, nice movement off the Nvidia conference. You got to have that short there. Now today, we'll wait for Fed. So there's Brian. I'm glad that he was good spirits there on the recap show, as he always is. Of course, Reddit? Okay, so just because we're talking about Roku, I don't know if that matters about Reddit or anything like that. Oh yeah, they start with the same letter. But this is another one that got absolutely destroyed in the last couple of days. Like we were just thinking that maybe we bounced off the 200 period. Well, you're getting that other opportunity right now here today to potentially buy this on the 200 period moving average. So as we said, it's one thing to try to call a bottom. It's another thing to try to dollar cost average into something. This name is down, and we talked about this. It's 50%, right? From that top to this bottom right there. 51% roughly as we go. So that's something that, I think it's probably worth buying. I mean, with low volume here today, 36,000, we'll have to wait to see that bottom yesterday, 108, 108.50. So if you do get a flush down moment here for Reddit, I think you can forget about it and buy 108.50s down there today for Reddit and see if we do get that hold. It's going to be an interesting morning as people will position ahead of Fed. And look what just happened. Thanks, Randy. We just got exactly the play that I was talking about where the futures were up here. We came right into VWAP and bounced nicely. So a nice little retracement there of 30 to 40 handles back to the upside there on the futures. All right, Randy, I kind of just got one, but it's already getting cold, so we will do cheers. Thank you for that one. How's it going? No more wins on Tim Hortons anymore, huh? See, that's the thing.
In a rough patch.
I know. They're not even giving the cups anymore, some of them, because they're all sold out. March 23rd is the last day. I still have one free donut. I got my daughter a Dream cookie. Ooh. They have different calibers of cookie. The Dream had mini M&Ms in it. She liked it, whatever. She had it after her practice.
Can't go wrong with M&Ms.
Chess starts up tomorrow, ready to go for that. Got to discuss cars. We got to buy a new car.
It's important to know what day the kids' activities are. I'm just throwing that out there because when swimming gets changed from Tuesday to Thursday, and your wife forgets to tell you.
Right.
Yeah. Shout out to my daughter's swimming place because we get there at 7 o'clock and I find out my wife had moved it.
Right.
And our calendar didn't get updated. And they got her into a 7:15. I was just like, look, we're here. Nice. She's disappointed. And they put her in a class.
What time was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be at 7 o'clock.
Okay, so it's only 15
minutes. So it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Good.
Yeah, the kids were. It's all. I say kids, but like they're probably like 20 years old. The people that are
less. The instructors?
Well, there's like the head guys.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
He was probably like in his early 20s, but the teenagers are the instructors. But they were really cool about it because I don't want you see it, like the kid's disappointed. Like Aaron would have been like, oh, I wanted to do swimming today. So.
I should put this microphone thing
white. Calendar, man, it's so key.
No, without the Google Calendar, I don't even know.
No, but if it doesn't get updated, I'm like, Really? Changing the days? And now basketball's on Mondays too, so at least I know that.
Yeah, my son wants to get into basketball, but I'm like, bro, you're like...
Why not?
Oh, no, he could do it, but I'm saying, like, he's 13. Like, these kids at that, he's going to have to play house league, like, at the bare minimum. Like, kids at 13 years old are pretty much dunking these days. So it's like,
Yeah, there's some...
you know, you gotta get involved with that a little bit earlier. Okay, we have Raheem Alani. We're not going to make him wait for too much longer. So great to have him back in the building. It's Raheem and Brendan.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. Raheem back to talk some more tariffs because this deadline is approaching pretty quickly here, April 2nd.
Every time we come on.
It seems like it's just around the corner.
It's around the corner. It's
Yeah.
about to happen, and then
It sounds like at least this time it might stick.
let's see.
In the sense that, you know, we're actually going to get these tariffs. So we want to touch on steel specifically. Just outside of Toronto and the GTA, there's a gigantic steel economy in a place called Hamilton, going to be hit, potentially going to be hit pretty hard if this continues to go through. We'll talk about a couple of steel names, but let's talk gold first, just to touch on the fact that this thing just continues to march to all-time highs. I mean,
It is. We hit this morning again, another all-time high this morning.
yeah. This is a daily chart of the futures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row.
Yeah.
Positive.
Yeah, this morning at about 7:48, it hit another all-time high. It's probably hitting an all-time high right now as we.
His mic isn't on.
And all it's doing is just around inflation, whatever that's going to be, trade wars, what that's going to be. Will there be interest rate cuts? Because gold, like we always talk about, it's a proxy for a number of things versus it's gold that sits because gold is just a fantastic asset. But it's a proxy against everything else that's out there in the world. So which way do you want to play that angle? And everyone seems to be funneling their money into gold.
Yeah.
It's not getting into the equities yet, but that's another thing to come, I think.
I was having a conversation with somebody about the 10-year and yields in general, and if you mirror these charts, one is going this way and one is going straight down. So money coming out of some of the longer-term yields maybe going into things like gold.
Yeah. Now, gold is definitely a place where people put their money, and because there's central banks behind it, there's all those elements that go into gold and who's buying it versus like silver. We'll touch on silver as well, which has also had a nice march. But silver doesn't necessarily march the same way as gold because gold is actually a proxy for a lot of things in central bank regimes.
Right. So when it comes to steel specifically and some of the other metals that are going to be affected here, high level, what should we be aware of?
So silver as a traditional metal to gold has followed the percentage uptick of gold. And in some cases, it actually escalates beyond that because people look at silver as a storage of value, but not to the same extent how gold is viewed. So you see the march on silver, and silver is starting that move up. It's crossed to 30, it's crossing 35. It's getting to higher levels as well. Silver does have the potentiality of an even higher delta because of the fact that people are using it for different ways to trade the silver market. Copper, same thing with Trump announcements, China announcements. Copper just hit $5, I think it was yesterday, and we haven't seen that number. And steel is the last one, but steel isn't a proxy of things that need to get built like copper, zinc, gold, silver, different ways to use those metals. Steel is an actual, like, there's a tariff of 25% going on steel. That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Like a very flat business related.
Yeah, and as I was mentioning, I mean, we have friends down in Hamilton, and a lot of people in that area are going to be affected by this one way or the other. So let's touch on a few individual names here.
Sure.
Agnico Eagle, AEM. What are you seeing here? I mean, this chart looks great.
The chart speaks for itself, and I think we've mentioned it a few times, and I think I'd be remiss to give my wife a shout out because she always says, why don't we just buy gold? And I say we buy gold stocks, and I don't think we bought enough of them because these charts are just, they've gone gangbusters. And what we're going to see, just going back to gold real quick, is that these companies that are asset light are going to be picking up additional assets, qualitative reserve assets,
Right.
not their producing assets, but their backfill assets. And that's going to be, I think, if you guys start to watch for some of these M&A transactions and why they're being acquired, you're going to start to see more of that activity, and you'll get your deltas on those opportunities. Agnico Eagle, as an example, they're just concluding their transaction tomorrow with a company called O3. That deal was going to be done at $1.67, I believe. And then they made another investment into a company called Continental. They're putting in $64 million to own, they own, or to keep a percentage of just under 15% So you're going to see companies like Agnico that have these balance sheets and can now execute their businesses on 3,000 gold versus what they budgeted of 2,000 gold. So you've got this whole stockpile of cash and stock that you're going to see companies of the size and scale of Agnico are going to start to use their currencies.
Collective mining, CNL, also another one here in Toronto.
Yep, so 13.18 went up to, their delta, if you look at that between the year, is between $3 and $13.35. So it's not a bad trade at all. Again, if you caught it the right way, it's all of a sudden now it's $1 billion company.
Crazy.
Right? So these things happen with these companies when they catch the right wave, they're in the right country. They're in a couple of different countries, but they do focus on Colombia and Canada. And like I said, Agnico just bought 14.99% of the company. So when you are looking at these investments, again, we talked about look at closeology, who's in your neighborhood, who's around you. Look at the management team. Have they done a number of these things before? And this team in particular, they built a team called Continental that sold to Zijin Mining for $2 billion. So they've got that pedigree that they've done it, and now they've just become $1 billion company again, and they brought in Agnico Eagle as a strategic investor.
All right, a few other ones here. LIF.
Yeah,
this is steel, or
yeah, it's just a steel company, Labrador. Based here in the east coast of Canada, in Labrador, obviously. Not a sexy name, but if you're looking at a name that will potentially have some volatility around tariff news, that would be something here. It's a $2 billion company. It's not a sexy chart, but it is an opportunity to trade if you believe that tariff does come into play.
Why is it that these as a group, I mean, you and I were talking about this before we came on here, why is it as these as a group are kind of boring trades?
Yeah, steel, iron ore. I used to work with a gentleman many years ago who covered that sector, and I used to just, no offense to Peter, but I used to fall asleep listening to him because there's not a lot of sex appeal in these things, right? There is no big, massive swing in the underlying commodities. Steel's not going to rip up and down 30% because somebody made an announcement in a particular country. So these things trade very band tight because there isn't those massive government announcements or purchases or things that happen that can move the stock into big numbers.
There's another one, Champion, CIA, also here in Toronto.
Yeah, so that one's based out of Quebec. Now they do say they export globally out of Quebec. So just again, a name you might want to take a look at. Look at what their U.S. exposure is, and look at what they're going to look to do to mitigate against that U.S. exposure. But again, trades right down the fairway, $30 between 28 and 33 all year. So if you want some downside protection, it's there. Unfortunately, there is upside protection, which you kind of don't want in a stock. But you're probably going to be in a band on those names.
All right, let's talk about things that actually move. Here's Fortuna, FVI.
Just to give everyone context, we did want to give you Steel Intelligence just because there are some names out there, and there is something to look at, but it is a boring trade. And
this thing's parabolic since the beginning of the month.
So they've become a $2.5 billion company. They're a gold and silver company. West Africa and Latin America. They're in 6 different countries. Continue to go well. And they announced their results. They had a net income of $128 million. And they did a share buyback. Like I say, if you love yourself, you buy yourself. So they bought 6.5 million shares in themselves last year. They've continued that with another 500,000 so far this year. And the trades just kept moving on the back of, again, gold and silver prices being where they are. They're getting that touch, right?
And it's one of those things where, yeah, you can go out and look at the futures. You can look at, the underlying asset, but why not check out some of these $4, $5, $6 names that have moved 100%, 200% in some cases here. Yeah. Endeavor's another one.
Same thing. If you look at that chart from 52 weeks, from 270 to over $7 at present. They're now almost a $2 billion company. And same thing. They've got over 100 million sitting in cash. And when they did all of their sales and projections, they did it at 27 silver and 2,400 gold. So just on the back of how they built their companies, you're giving them now an extra $600 on their gold, an extra $5 to $6 on their silver. I mean, math is math.
We'll see. April 2nd, again, coming up in a hurry because he didn't want it to be on April Fool's Day.
Because that would have been just
ironic,
so appropriate.
but so good anyways. But we'll see. I mean, a few ideas here. Lower priced, easier to trade, easier to get into names. Raheem Alani, OCI Groups. Good to see you.
Always.
Yeah, thank you, Raheem. And as always, giving you a wealth of ideas and names, especially out here in TO. And the thing about like some of the miners, like you talk about the boring ones, like one of the stock, I'm going to go back to the U.S. for a quick little second here. Well, not for a quick second, we'll stick with the U.S. because that's what we do. but Freeport is finally looking like it might do something. Freeport McMoran. It's finally looking like it might be doing something here. Everyone tries to bottom pick this. You wouldn't necessarily, think this is going to be like the biggest mover ever, but retest of the bottom just took the 50. It's got this little wall here. I was just looking at some names, like what is doing the whole make a bottom, regain the moving average, the 50 period, and has a little bit of a breakout pending. So this is a bit of a laggard, which is trying to catch a little bit of a turn, and it's bouncing off support. When I zoom it out, you can sort of see that it's bouncing off a key support area. That has some room to be able to get back up to its high. It's been languishing a little bit. That's the thing with tariff uncertainty. There are some things that are trying to make some bottoms. I just wonder in the overall market if we're there just yet.
Yeah, I mean, Raheem, they're talking about gold and not buying enough of it. I mean, I think that's true of, many of us around here. You guys know that we got into this thing, but at the end of the day, just like 5 or 6 straight up days, breaking through 3,000 an ounce right now. I mean, gold has been, really, that's one of the better, I mean, obviously we can look from here, but just in the last 6 or 7 days, you don't normally see that kind of a bump, 265 up to 280. That's a good one. As many traders, I don't know if we're rotating out of Bitcoin. I don't think it's the same kind of a trader, but outperforming right now GLD and Bitcoin. I actually heard that gold versus the S&P 500 over the last 10 years, there's a nice catch-up trade happening, and gold is trying to get to that performance level. The only thing is that the S&P 500 dividends considered still outperforming gold over the past decade. But with that most recent move up here, gold definitely catching a bottom and going. And it makes sense, right? I mean, we know why. We've talked about sort of the uncertainty, and Raheem just, nailed some of those tariff talks and what we're looking for there. So, yeah, some of the miners, I know Raheem's talked about this with us before, Barrick Gold coming into play, another dual listed name, grab the 3-4% dividend, and there it goes. Same kind of way, right? Now, obviously not at all-time highs or anything like that as we look at the chart, but nice little performer there with Barrick. So you can get some miners. GDX is the gold miner ETF, so if you were looking for that's another way to play the miners as well, and that is similar to what gold's been doing. That's also making that huge move up. So yeah, GDX, GLD, two names to keep on watch here as you look to diversify a little bit into different plays, right? Now, I mean, I know that I'm way overloaded in these tech names, so it is good to have some exposure here to some metals, a little more calm, but I could see a little bit of a pullback just based on this sort of capitulation higher. We'll wait to see what winds up happening in this market. If you think the market's going to bottom, then gold probably does pull back a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's really been a nice run. And for everybody that sat in gold for the last decade, as I said, it's nice to have this catch up over the last couple months. So Good job there for anybody that's in that. We talked to Michael Noss about metal. Neil just talked about copper with FCX and things like that. And as Raheem meant, that $5 print there, it's been a while. So, yeah, it's been good, man. I think it's COPX? I think, yeah, there it is. So COPX is the global miner copper ETF. And so this is another one over the last couple of days as well for this. 40, there's lots of room to run, but 40 up to 42.50 there, looking to break out, I guess, on the 200 period as well as COPX there, the global ETF for copper. So, yeah, just a couple names to look at. It's 9:04. Make sure you do scan the QR code right there on your screen. Grab the watch list ASAP. We're about to go through a rundown, and it always has the biggest stories on it. So let's go back over to the desk. We'll thank Raheem for stopping by one more time and give it back to Sharif and Brendan.
Yeah, let's jump right into it, guys. We'll get a look at the overall market here.
56.70, Brendo. That's where we closed out yesterday on the June contract, guys. We are now charting on the June contract. Is doing more volume. The March contract expires on Friday. So as I mentioned, 56.70. That's where we closed out. The overnight high, 56.89. So we're looking at that 5,700 point area as resistance to the downside. We seem to be defending 56.50. So we're locked in a bit of a range. Let's use that as support.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the watch list. Absolutely free every single day. It's in the description of this video. The link is in the description of this video. Top link, just click on it, enter your email address, then you get that sent right to your inbox every single day. Has what is moving in the pre-market and why daily. Decent move here so far for Tesla, better part of 3% back to the upside. If we zoom out, You'll get a bigger picture, though, and understand that 3% is going to be needing to be multiplied by a few to get anywhere back to where we need to be for Tesla. But yeah, Cantor Fitzgerald with the upgrade today, going from neutral to overweight.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. So Elon Musk was on television yesterday, Sean Hannity, and he was kind of trying to defend his position with respect to what he was doing. So keep an eye out today for some responses. Now, with respect to what Cantor Fitzgerald said, they boosted Tesla's rating from neutral to overweight. Some of the key growth factors they're talking about: the robo-taxi launch, the expansion of full self-driving, as well as lower-priced vehicle, the Model Q or the Model 2. We're anticipating this year. He's also talking about the Optimus robot and the semi-truck. Some headwinds that could potentially hurt Tesla: tariffs and potential removal of the EV tax credit. And with respect to self-driving here, I mean, making the comparison between Tesla and Waymo, Tesla's logged over 3 billion cumulative autonomous driving miles versus Waymo's 25 million miles. That's as of early 2025. Obviously, a little bit of a different look there. But if you look at that data point, it's quite interesting, Brendo.
We're chopping around here, guys, right at the bottom end of the range once again, to the upside today, but that gives you a better perspective.
Yeah, we're still talking NFL over here.
So
We're talking about...
well,
he was talking about Aaron Rodgers going back to following the similar steps of Brett Favre, going to New York, Green Bay, New York, Minnesota. So that's the next possible move there.
Here's what I would like it to.
But then we talked about Pittsburgh.
I was trying to bring it back to the market. If Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota, it's like the worst possible thing you can do, in my opinion. It's kind of like Elon Musk taking his attention away, taking eye off the ball from Tesla. It's not good for the stock. It's not good for your brand.
The thing is, though, Minnesota won't tank half of their, like, they won, 11, 12 games last year? Maybe they're not going to win 6. Like, Tesla's given back everything.
Yes.
You know. Well, yeah, we're supposed to talk about Tesla.
By the way,
talk about SMCI?
No, SMCI just made a little bit of a move here. So I heard in my ear SMCI popping a bit. Remember, SMCI got moked on the Nvidia turnaround. Like, this stock went $3 down. Like a new storage server they're announcing here. So SMCI moving a little bit there. I guess we'll get to that when we talk about Nvidia in just a second. But Tesla, the 220 level has held. So you managed to bounce off that last week. You managed to bounce off 222 specifically yesterday, but it's really been that 222 to 220 level, which is held up. And if we stay in a somewhat range-bound market, like when it broke the range, it found the same bottom. So if it can settle into, if it's a new range, then I would think probably to the close, like not 229, like 226, somewhere in 240. I wrote down I'm not trusting this. I wanted to fade if it got all the way up to 240 or trade the 222. So this is not a prime idea for me because it's sitting exactly in the middle, so it's going to require some patience to get there. But we'll talk about SMCI a little bit more when we mention Nvidia next.
Yeah, look, I didn't even write. I sat here and Sharif was like, well, what are you thinking and everything like that. And I was just thinking of taking out my phone and just scanning this barcode and figuring out what's happening right there. So I do another big shout out to Brian Shannon. But I don't have too much of an opinion here for Tesla today. I feel like we want to go short and still play that trend. But then, like, part of me is also thinking that this 220, like, I know that's still $12 away, but if that's the perceived bottom, we may, and I don't think it is, but I just mean temporarily here, especially if we're not going to move too much today in the market. I mean, we just had that move down into VWAP and then right back in the middle of the range again. That's the point of the 50-period moving average. Very choppy right now, not giving us a trend. So if the futures aren't going to do too much here today, then all I really think we have to wait for is this instant move off the open, whether or not it's a rip or a tank. It has the ability to climb back no matter what the way is, right? So, like, here's 2 days ago when you had that dramatic move down to 240, then a retracement back $4, then it kept going. So even yesterday, right? I mean, you have that dramatic move down. Actually, yesterday, it just continued to go down. And then we get that move that was 230 down to, we had this move. So 230 down to 223, and then the retracement back, it didn't get get good until we broke VWAP clean back there to the upside. So I think Tesla will give us a bunch of trades today. It's just a matter of right now, I don't have a very strong opinion. You would think that the low here might be 228 as we had some issues with 229.50. Give it a little bit lower than that, and that puts you right here at 228. It was also the high yesterday in the afternoon. So I could see that being a dip buy opportunity. But for me on Tesla, it's kind of like hands off. Let's see if we can do something like this and then make a decision. Yesterday, I would have thought that it was barcoding maybe long. But again, remember, we had that trade yesterday right there off the open off VWAP. So a pre-market breakdown right now definitely could be something. 231 breaking down. So watch out right there for Tesla making a move off of the pre-market bottom, 230, 231. But these imbalances are still to come. So it's not on my watch list today. Hopefully you guys will yell and scream about it in the chat if it does make a dramatic move. But that would probably be followed or following a move in the futures, which will be all over. So yeah, just excited to trade Tesla today, but waiting for some levels. And with Fed here, I don't know, man. Lucid has some moves. Rivian maybe. Ford GM had an announcement yesterday with autonomous driving, which could be a play there with Nvidia as well. So we'll talk about the GTC conference right now. Yeah, and possibly, you know, as you mentioned, SMCI, some more takeaways from that. So full self-drive being in more cars now, like it used to be Tesla specific. Now it seems like there's many other names here, competitions. Boeing is going ham right now, by the way. So 160, I just heard the guy say 175. That was
did touch it.
Yeah, so something's going on with Boeing right now, up huge. BA Boeing, nice move up there. Just touched 175 from 162. So Boeing, needless to say, it's going. But we have a $2
flying high.
Yeah, we have a where's the airplane? We have a $2 spread we just had. Yeah. Oh, my stream deck's not on, but we have a $2 spread there in Boeing. So be careful. Obvious news here on BA.
Also, Williams-Sonoma's now down 9% after earnings. And they're going into the index. They're going to the S&P on Friday. So that's another one that might be a mover. You got to think when you're going into the index, sometimes you get a bounce. So it's almost nice if it goes down further to be able to make a trade on Friday, as far as I'm concerned. But let's get into Nvidia because we have some more to cover before the open.
Yeah, you guys were talking about SMCI. Here's that story. First of all, it did mention Nvidia in it. So Nvidia also moving on that. Thanks. Nvidia, so Supermicro introducing petascale all-flash storage server, Nvidia Grace CPU going to be used in that. So there's Nvidia now 1.5% to the upside along with that SMCI headline. Yeah, a lot to unpack from yesterday as well.
Yeah, we'll just cover some of the major things that Jensen dropped in the keynote yesterday. Blackwell Ultra, that's a next-gen CPU or GPU here. It will enhance AI content generation. It will help with speed, efficiency. It's going to be usable to offer AI premium services, much like what we're seeing with ChatGPT Pro and some of these versions. It's going to come in two different formats, GB300. That is going to come paired with an ARM CPU, and then there's going to be the B300, which is a GPU only. Then we've got the Vera Rubin. This one's kind of interesting here because this is going to start shipping later next year. It's going to be composed of a CPU and a GPU. What's notable here is they're dropping the ARM-based design. They're actually making their own CPUs, which is new for NVIDIA. It's going to be twice as fast as its predecessor. And the GPU here, Brenda, look at this. 50 petaflops, double Blackwell's 20 petaflops. So good strength there. Last but not least, not like I really know what that means, but it seems like it's faster. Some of the market impact here, they're making or they're doing collaborations with companies like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, obviously GM. And they're switching to an annual release cycle rather than every 2 years. So kind of taken from the iPhone.
Of course.
Yeah, so
they almost have to. That's a lot of petaflops, man.
That's a lot of petaflops.
It's a lot of petaflops.
Not like I know what it means.
Gobbledygook. No, it's what ended up happening was there was that Sell the News event. It seems like, by the way, the Boeing news just seems like the CEO was talking and reaffirming they're tracking Q1 is tracking towards expectations. So that's the one thing I saw. I don't know. It seems like there'd be more than that for the pop that they're getting in Boeing, but that's the one thing that I was able to see, and we'll keep our ears to the ground for that Boeing move. But Nvidia, if there wasn't if there was a resistance in the 19 to 20 range yesterday, and they sold the news off of that, my gut leads me back into that same range. That being said, and I said we talked about SMCI in this regard, like SMCI surprised with how nasty the reversion was. Because at the same time, when Nvidia made that high, SMCI broke its trend. It lost like it was a 41. It was moved from like 40.80 or so. I thought we were tracking in, and Nvidia bounced. This went $1 and went into a support level, and Nvidia started bouncing. It's like, okay, yeah, this is bouncing too. Get out, and then it dropped another $2 after that. So that range in here, where it found that support, the 39.5. That's the first place I'm looking, but I want to fade pops in this name, so 39.5, and then if it breaks that, I'll call it the Nvidia top, just because yesterday was the event, right? And that's at $41. Those are the places I want to play in SMCI. And the Boeing CEO speaking at a conference or some sort of conference.
Yeah, I just heard that now in my ear as well. Look, I mean, yesterday, I'm not even sure if we tweeted it, but it was like the trade that we made. Yeah, it was right here. I thought it was one of the easiest trades. And even as Sharif and Joe and all that were sort of talking about Nvidia and going crazy as Jensen rolled out there in his leather jacket, I was just like, you know what? This is definitely a fade the pop situation when he comes on. This is 1 o'clock. This is the trade that we had. It went down to 114.50 is where we closed it. So I had some fills. It's too bad I didn't put any other pictures out here, but we had some 116.50 fills here as well. There's the move down. This is 1 o'clock. I started it a little bit before. It did make the move higher. We just shorted it against 119, and then boom goes the dynamite to the downside. I was even saying, even when he was on, I was like, no one's going to understand anything this guy says. And I mean, that was part of the feedback that was there. In front of 17,500, about 17,000 of them had no idea about the talk. So, I mean, those examples were cool. I think that's real nice. I like Nvidia here. Definitely. I mean, I remember when Adara sort of just got on the news desk, I think for one of the first times, and it was that Meta Oculus discussion there when he walked out on stage, and the stock just absolutely tanked. And I mean, and it was the glasses, it was the Oculus, it was all that. All this stuff is cool and it's great, but I just feel like everything is just fade the stories when they come out. And then I came in today and I said to Sharif, like, wow, what an easy trade that was if you're going to hold it overnight. I mean, 115 has held. It's risky to do that. I mean, I don't think you want to hold tech names overnight if you're just going to play off key levels because they could break. But that 115, like, that was a great opportunity there for Nvidia, and that's where we closed. So there's the short that I had yesterday into the conference, and there's the end result, 115. So, you know, a huge $4 move down. I don't think it was rocket science. I think it was a pretty easy short. I just explained why. So now we just wait for support down there at 115. It's not even really on my mind today other than 115, so let's just wait for that. The stock that I put down here for a trade was going to be Intel. So I have the sticky note is now out. I know a lot of you are bugging me about it. There's $25.80 to $26. That's going to be the short for Intel. I'm not looking long on that name. They failed off that $26 yesterday. Go over at Trader TV, Sean. I explained a little bit of what I was thinking. Oh boy. Okay, well, okay, I didn't realize that we had tanked this hard. Like, we were writing the sticky note down here, 25, 50. I thought we could bump up 50 cents. It doesn't look like that at all. So, you know what? I'll just say this. We don't have the stream deck up, but it was a good idea. Yeah, my screen there. Thanks, Fabian. Right here for Intel. It was a good idea to go short as we put it on there. So we'll say great for the idea, but it's already started. So it looks like right now, this is like that thing yesterday where we had the big winner for Tesla. The whole day was Tesla yesterday for me. And the whole day, well, we had other trades, but so if we're thinking short right now, like we were on Tesla yesterday, the short is already happening. Like when we're here writing the sticky note and putting down 25.80, that's this level right here. So I think that's a pretty easy short, but you know, we had the 200 period. Now, you know, 25.50, I'm thinking now for the short. Let's give Intel some love, but at the same time, man, new CEO, it's definitely starting to get wasted a bit. I had said that we were trying to wait for 27, 28. It doesn't look like it got there. fool's gold, I think, in Intel, man. I do feel like we come back in. You always got to give the new CEO a couple quarters to get the plan in action. And I think we did have a great opportunity to fade that pop right there. So you can put makeup on a pig, but it's still a pig. So Intel, oink, oink.
Crypto back to the upside. Day highs right now. In fact, IBIT still going here after what happened yesterday. We double bottomed down at 45, 45.50, holding nicely. As the market's starting to get going here as well.
Yeah, so interesting developments here in ETF world for crypto, Brendo. Bitcoin redemptions in focus here under the new SEC. This was an interview with Skybridge Capital's Anthony Scaramucci yesterday, who's well known to be in the crypto field. According to him, SEC filings are in progress to allow in-kind Bitcoin creation and redemption. In case you're wondering what that is, in-kind Bitcoin redemption refers to a process where investors in a Bitcoin ETF can receive actual Bitcoin when they sell rather than cash. Currently, right now, traditional redemptions is you sell the ETF, IBIT, you get cash back in your brokerage. In-kind redemption, instead of selling Bitcoin for cash, you get Bitcoin back. Apparently, this was a sticking point under the previous SEC under our friend Gary Gensler, now with the new SEC chair in place, looking at making that adjustment.
Yeah, back to top end of the range here, at least, guys, looking pretty good once again for Bitcoin.
Yeah, look, I bet 85,000 has been a little bit of a resistance spot here recently. Like you had, excuse the term, barcoding up there at the 85 level or just underneath it. So I think a track into that is going to lead you probably a little sideways. I wouldn't want to chase that move. Not really. Like when I sat down, I was like, yeah, I like the range bound notion, and maybe we'd be testing 47 on IBIT. Now that you're headed higher, I don't want to chase that move. But what's still in play would be that 12 on Mara. Not as strong. It's up 2%, so it's not like it's not bouncing, but it's still very much in play off the $12 level, which has been support. So from a stock play, as long as you're holding on to the new support that we have at 82K, then this one bouncing off, you only bounce off a level so many times in a downtrend before it eventually breaks, but that's still at least in play for MARA. But that's the only one that I'm looking at.
Yeah, yesterday we had another big trade with Mara down at $12. I mean, it ends the day at 12. I think that's another long opportunity. Probably should have wrote that on the sticky note. It was there yesterday. Again, I really like that stock for sure. Someone Jam Loki there in the chat said something about an XRP move. So let me just see what's happening right here in crypto right now. All right, so let's just go over some of these battered altcoins, or I guess there it is. So you're right. Look at XRP right now. It's starting to get a little move higher right now. Just boom. So there it goes, man. This could be something to look at as we wait. I guess 9 o'clock it started. So yeah, good look right there. XRP, you said the case against XRP. I'm not super familiar with Ripple and what's going on. I mean, I'm familiar with it, but not any of the stories there, as I do own some Ripple, but very little. I did sell it on that first move up, which was not right. I sold it like, I think around $2 and then it went to 3 and something. So great trade there. But right now, last 24 hours, nice to see Bitcoin, nice to see Ethereum. I know I don't really believe in Ethereum. I still do own some. I'm trying to get everything into Bitcoin. So this next pop, we'll probably sell some. It's been hit pretty good there. It's down. I think Donald Trump Jr., or I'm not sure which one it was pumping. I think it's the other one there. There's Donald Trump Jr. What's the other guy's name? Like the blonder? Eric Trump, I think, was talking about Ethereum at 3,300, and that was just a couple weeks ago. Now it's down to 2,000. But right there, Solana up 4%, then Cardano. So I'm always looking at these names that were sort of randomly dropped in that crypto tweet from Trump a couple weeks ago, where he talked about Ripple, Solana, and Cardano. So we'll have to watch for that. Dogecoin, man, like I remember talking about this with Obi when it was at like 38, 39 cents there. That's been really crushed. So that's definitely something to watch out for there, as Dogecoin maybe, again, I don't know if it has something to do with the government there, the Doge, but that's really gotten hit. So just looking at Coinbase, feels like there's bases here everywhere. And again, this looks good to me. If you buy some Coinbase here, 184, we know Kathy Wood and all that. This is one of those names that they get in there and buy. So Coinbase on a good day can really rally. I wonder if that day's today with crypto holding that 82,000, looking to break through 84, 85 next. and then you get back up to that 90. So I think Bitcoin's done really well in this move down. It's been holding there, and those that doubted it, I think right now you're kind of wondering because that move didn't really happen. It bounced. It bounced real well off 77 there. So I don't know. Crypto's barcoding market right now as well a little bit. That term I think is going to be used a lot today, especially.
I'll tell you what's not going to barcode.
Oh, wait a second.
Quantum stocks will not barcode.
No. Okay, so there's PTPI. Just right now, Quantum, well, who knows? We'll wait to see on that. But Tesla with a quick sell into the imbalances, now out at 925. So, all right, let's go back over now. I just want to check the imbalances in case there was something. I know a lot of you are interested in that. There's nothing. Boeing right now, CFO talking about 737 deliveries. So, that's going to be moving around here off the open as well. All right, let's go talk about some of those quantum names.
Yeah, ahead of the 20th, we get Quantum Day at GTC. We'll have a look at a few of those. I doubt we'll get to Intel, but TSMC throwing some shade on the fact that there were some rumors flying around that they might be interested in part of Intel. So just a heads up on Intel.
This on again, off again thing with Intel is kind of crazy. Let's talk about Quantum, because Quantum Day tomorrow at GTC. So if you'll recall, this is going to be first ever Quantum Day for Nvidia, March 20th at their GTC conference. Quantum computing stocks rallied last year, but saw an aggressive sell-off in January after Jensen basically questioned the technology's readiness. They've kind of partly recovered, but still below those highs. Some of the major headlines that we've had recently: Google's Willow chip, Microsoft's Majorna QPU. China's entered the race now with a $1.4 trillion fund to try to catch up. Some of the names that we'll see tomorrow during the Quantum Day: QBTS, which is D-Wave. We're going to see Rigetti. We're going to see Argit, ARQQ is the name there, and then IonQ, all expected, Brendo, to be at GTC tomorrow.
Getting a nice uptick here, already 4%, guys, to start things off here for Rigetti.
Yeah, so Rigetti was one of the three things we short in the afternoon. It was SMCI, Rigetti, and Intel. And we'll get to Intel. We talked some Intel already, but it got to $11. I don't want to draw one on there. It got to $11 and did a curl on right about the same time Nvidia made a top, and that was a prior close level as well. So if it pops into there and does any kind of a trend reverse, we'll want to look for the fade. We had to pay for locates on Rigetti, super cheap though. And it was a little weaker on the day. I shouldn't say a little weaker. It was a lot more weak than D-Wave. So I went away from D-Wave because this was just a better short. I feel the same way about Intel. We shorted in the afternoon and it did a reversion, just like everything made it a reversion. Like, it's not like you could have lost shorting most things in the afternoon after the Nvidia turn. So you can forget about 26 and the money fills that were above there on the short. At this point, I always turn support into resistance, and that's 25.5. So if it pops and never breaks 25.5, I want to fade that stock. And one last one, because Reddit was down like 12 or 13% yesterday, so it will be SSR, short sell restricted. Uptick rule in effect on Reddit. It's gotten smoked. It's trying to bounce off the 200-period moving average as we speak. But any kind of a revert setup off of these prior lows, so yesterday's low 108 and then the 105 level, if we can get a nice little reversion trade on Reddit, that's another thing we're looking for at the open. So yeah, it's not every single day you see Reddit. And it's not just that it dropped 12%. Remember, it rallied 10% in the afternoon on what wasn't the bogus news story, but on the report of a deal, a partnership that had already been announced previously. So Reddit under pressure, SSR today looking for that bounce off one of the prior lows.
Market ripping to highs right now, like literally ripping the market right now. So we'll have to wait to see. Hopefully, as I said, maybe we had bottomed yesterday on names like a Google and some of those names as Google's back to 162. You could have got that name at 157 yesterday. So, all right, I just added Quantum QBTS to the level. We had played off 110.50 numerous times. It was a big trade for us the last couple of days. QBTS is now added to the sticky note. You can go find that. Oh, here's that picture from, we talked about this. Here's that picture from yesterday as we talked about what was for lunch. No banana, or what was for breakfast. No bananas there yesterday. Thank you for all the views and all the likes on that one. Just having some fun on Instagram. Go make sure that you can find me on there. And then Andre will hopefully tag me on some Instagram posts as we go forward. Okay, we're going to wait to see about Intel. That name's still to the downside. We'll wait to see. Oh, there it is. Are we brought to you now by Nevada Canyon Gold as the now Bell, opening bell, Nevada Focus Gold Royalty. Oh, interesting name there. Scan that QR code, OTCX NGLD. 3, 2, 1. All righty then, we are now open.
On Fed Day.
On Fed Day, yeah. Welcome to a interesting day, which should be something anyways today. We'll wait though. Again, the Fed doesn't come out till 2 p.m., so we'll wait to see what happens there. Intel on a run. That's nice. Look at this market right there at highs again for the market. 25.30 for Intel. I think we can sort of start the short there. That's where we just got up to. So if Intel does go for a little bit of a jog, let's start that play in and around 25.30 right now. Boeing shares, obviously we're hearing that. Nice pullback on that. We talked about a 174, 175 high. That's pulling back a little bit there as well. Google starting the day. We were waiting for Tesla dips. And it looks like that does come into 230. We're waiting for 228. So there goes the market though. Huge. Right now off the open. Maybe it's Nvidia. I don't know. What do you got to go?
I mean, I'm not even seeing anything going crazy.
Oh yeah,
Nvidia's kind of going up. Tesla's going down. Reddit's not even moving. So let's stick a fork in that one.
Is it open yet, though? Because New York's...
Yeah, maybe it's... Yeah, you know what? It's not open yet. I haven't actually seen an opening print. Nvidia's making a solid move upside. Like, it's just moved about $1 or so. Going to go back to 3-minute charts. So it could get into that 1920 where it faded before. That could come into play. You already mentioned that Intel's just kind of chilling at 25. It hasn't made a huge move. Rigetti on the quantum side, like this is a real wick. Like it hit the low and it hit the pre-market high and is now sitting right in the middle. So Rigetti has traded the entirety of this pre-market range, 1075 top and 1050. I'm waiting for 11 where I was going to be looking for the short in this bad. We want to short the pops. I want to give it a chance to get higher though before we get into it. And SMCI was the other I'm watching. No bounce, just immediately to the downside. Broke VWAP, but it's trying to get back up. So I want to fade this one off of 39.5 ideally if we can get it.
All right, so we have our first position of the day at short the futures right now. We're 15 handles in the money. And again, it's like, I just wanted to see about that top. That's all. Like we had made it up there, you know, running into 61 bucks. Our stop is 61. If we break, I just put the stop out there, 61.05. So if we break back above that, then we'll get out. So it's like 20 cents. So we actually got out there at 20% off the open here. The market is really trying to rally right now. So I could see this pushing through. So this is just not Intel, no. I mean, that was the only short idea that we had written down. We'll talk about Intel in a minute, but right there. So I'm going to give this a little bit of room, but not much, man. 20 handles to the upside. If we break 20 handles, that's gone. We are very comfortable, obviously, trading the futures, so we'll wait to see what winds up happening there. I just want to see some of these wicks, right? I mean, if we want to keep going up, fine. Do we believe the market's along today? If you do, stay away from this trade. I'm just going to wait to see. I think it's at a great spot. We're near those pre-market highs right now and trying to break through them, wicking up to some highs. Let's just wait to see what winds up happening right at this level now for the NASDAQ. You know, I could see a fade, and it's happening right here again. So back in the money, 15 handles. It's a 1-to-1 trade here. Obviously, it needs to get into the 60s before we take something else out, putting it to 1-to-1. But that's the early trade idea for me right now is just going to be the futures. But it's pretty strong, right? It's still holding up. The NASDAQ's up 0.5% right here. Okay, you're not in anything. Palantir, I just
still not open on.
Oh, Reddit's still not open. So I'm Palantir's starting to go. Like this name, we know when the market goes, this name goes. So we'll have to wait to see for Palantir. It looks like a high of $86 yesterday. I mean, I like that break, man. If we could break 86. I'm looking aggressive on Palantir. If the market wants to go, man, we know this name can sing. So watch out for that. Dip buys, I wrote down 82, 82.50. You know, but again, patience, I feel like, even though we're already in, I feel like patience will rule the day here a little bit.
Yeah, Tesla's definitely going. I mean, I was really thinking Reddit was going to be a little bit more volatile for a bounce trade, but it's just not moving. So I'm going to move it to another level 2 here. Tesla is making a bit of a run at the highs. I guess we're not going to get any dip buy into 222. The other name that we got to watch out for, got to acknowledge as the market goes higher. Once you get $1 away from my order, that's 5% on Intel. If Intel pops 5%, I'm not just going to be sitting on the offer. Intel is like it's absolutely flushing into a market which is kind of strong here. So there might be a VWAP trade in there on Intel if we can find it. SMCI.
Baba came in.
SMCI did not break out the high. Looks like that 39.2 might be the place. I might try to get this one in front of 39. We wanted to short the pop above those highs into the levels from yesterday, but we might not be able to get those. So a little bit of patience, but not too much. And similar thing with Rigetti. Rigetti doesn't want to get all the way to 11. It's resisting 1075, 1080. QBTS a little bit stronger over there in D-Wave. So we're going to pop a little bit of a fade in that one.
Okay,
Alibaba.
Yeah, we just got Alibaba came in, but I punched out. So I'm just holding a very, very small piece there because Alibaba just flew in.
What price?
The thing is 144. The thing is I wrote down 145, 130, sorry. 143.50. But the thing is, man, we are now starting to make them sing. Let's spin the money here for the #1 trade right now, as we haven't made many trades. So for me, we've only had 2, and we just punched out of Alibaba. I'm just holding a very, very small piece to see where we go. But there goes the NASDAQ, man. I mean, as it was written right there, we talked about this short. We gave ourselves 20 worth of space there. If you're talking to me, I didn't hear you, so I got to adjust that right now.
35.
No, I'll have to adjust it, Fabian. I'm not hearing you, so I'll fix it. But there it goes. Is it? Oh, you're talking to Neil. Okay, good. So good. So it's working. All right, there it is, man. Down into 60.50. We did get that fill. That's that fill that we're looking for. So let's see how much lower we can go now. 30 handles in the money. I mean, if this market's going to fade, look at the NASDAQ coming right back in again. So you know what? I'm going to punch out of Alibaba because it really doesn't matter. We just lost 1% of what we made here on the TQ. So we'll put another bid. Yes, sir, Neil. That's the big trade right there of the day so far for me is the TQs. Let's go over to that. We still got on board 65% of this trade as we fall right back into the 200 period moving average. So there we go. What's up, Jay Lee? What's up, Ayal? There as we wait to see what's going on. But you just bounced off the 200 period. I'm going to put another bid here, and then now we'll wait, man. There it is, man. 43s. Boom. Big trade there to start the day on the futures. I hope you guys are all enjoying this.
Absolutely, and just 2 things. One, I just got into SMCI. Reddit made a move into the 108 level, so that's yesterday's low. It's finally on the move here, looking for that reversion trade in Reddit. It's actually going to be an Adara word. This is a spready stock, let's just say. So we're going to make sure we have a little bit of slippage underneath anticipated at that 108 level and see if we can't take the first bounce. It's already made a hold of 108, looking for a VWAP retracement. I have to get a midpoint in there to try and make the spread. Anyways, there's a spread, so I just went to the midpoint of that order. Yeah. And if it breaks 108, we're going to jump out of that one. Are we going to it? You guys let me know if we're going to Adara. And then SMCI broke down underneath VWAP, but I like this one a lot better at 39, 39.25. So if it breaks out at VWAP, I'm going to jump out and wait for us to get that 39.2. Let's go over to Adara at the desk.
Brought to you by Trade the Pool. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back to Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using company capital. That means no more risking your savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation, so that means no pressure, no rushing. Take your time, perfect your strategy, and get funded on your terms. Remember, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee. Your profits are unlimited. Head to tradethepool.com and start trading now. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara. We're right now just like massaging this position a little bit. I'm not, like we did flush all the way down into 30s there. We didn't have a bid. We do now. And it's just one of those things where maybe the market did find that base at the 200 period. So we were cashing out of more of these. Cash me outside as we wait to get more on that one. And I'll take another fill here at 51s. There it is at the 50 period. Let's just wait to see how low we can go here. It was very, very choppy. And we talked about this market potentially being into that sort of zone today of uncertainty until we get Fed. Even though the Fed rate cut is 100% now expected to be nothing. As Neil mentioned, though, we'll wait to see if there's any news going there, dot plots, so on and so forth.
I care more about the economic comments than anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care about the dot plot.
Yeah, no, I know. You just mentioned that it was there. So, yeah, I don't think any of us are really too nervous about today's report, but other than the fact that it is a report and we're going to have to pay attention to it, right? So, the NASDAQ there coming back in on that. I'm just going to hold. We have half left. So it still could be bad. All right, it's a good thing that we dumped out of Alibaba. I know you're still in Reddit. Okay, this guy's got 2 positions.
Not anymore. Reddit
okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Reddit just lost a bit, but I am still in SMCI. Let me give you the black chart. That one just, there we go. I was about to crash. Reddit just lost a bid at 108, so we'll slap the reversion fail on that. I'm waiting for the prior low at 105. If it loses 105, I'd try a reversion at like $100 or maybe an even dollar level underneath it, but we just lost a bid there. SMCI just came into VWAP and then out of VWAP again. So it's still holding the bottom end of this range with 38.30 is going to be that low. So we're going to make sure we get some bids out into 38.30 to 20. If the market's going to come down, I do expect SMCI would follow, but Reddit, and I'll go back to Reddit now. Reddit lost that bid, couldn't hold on to the low. Still tried a couple of trend breaks, but this is one of those shots where the second it happens, show me this. I have to go back a couple of days. I'll go to the 15-minute chart there. This is the next little bottom I'm looking for, the 105 level on Reddit. Goes into that level, going to look for it coming back out and take the bid. Intel, we did not get shorted Intel. I tried to grab it back through VWAP or close to VWAP, I suppose, at the time. But it's right here at 24.7. I tried to get 24.9s. It's still heading lower and still looking incredibly weak. So SMCI so far is working, but getting into Intel, the short was a priority. We like the Reddit to try and bounce early, but we also wanted to be short Intel, which is down 5% today.
Yeah.
Stock is in
We talked about
trouble.
That. I should have been short that
Trouble.
stupid name. I should have got out of that. I mean, like, whatever. I'm not trying to hold Intel long term, which is why I'm thinking like I probably should have scalped out of that. Okay, look, man, those spidey senses were real good, man. So we did avoided on Alibaba, but look where Alibaba goes, man, right into 143 there. So I mean, that was a level that we had talked about. 142.50 right into yesterday's close. So I know that Sharif always mentions closing prices and that. So that goes right into yesterday's close. So good luck there by Sharif. Right into there. Yeah, Powell comes a little bit later, man. Powell, you just work on your game. Don't worry. Okay, there it is, man, right now. We're going to go 1 for 1. The Alibaba trade is a flat trade. Here goes the TQs, man, still going to the downside. As Neil mentioned, we missed out on Intel, so we'll wait on that. Tesla, I mean, I see us snoozing what's up to everybody there that's, talking about maybe... Yeah, okay, here we go, man. This is a big money-making trade right now, guys. Honestly, the fact that we put this on, I mean, we're pretty happy with it. There goes the futures down to the downside. So if you're trading equity, futures, whatever, man, I hope you found your spot because there it goes. Give me those 12s, man. There it is. Yes, sir. So we will have a chicken dinner winner to start the day here. It is 70 handles to the downside as we shorted the top in the NASDAQ. That's pretty easy for us. We talked about the risk, and this is the thing that we do on the show. You know, Neil talked about Reddit. Where's he in? Where's he out? Same thing with these TQs. This was a 20 handle out. If we had lost 20 cents on this name, we were out. So now it's 75, 80 cents now in the money. So let's put, there it is. We just put another bid right there. It's the cash cow of the day today. It's the futures. SMCI also, I assume, going to the downside. Any
broke low a day.
Perfect, man. Any short. Yeah.
Except for Tesla. Oh, yeah, I had to sneeze. So I didn't mute myself. But SMCI at the low of the day just broke the low of the day. So when it broke lows, I did get some out as it just immediately wicked back above. So there was a buyer that came in here right at the quarter mark after it broke the low. I jumped in. Some people like to buy the bottoms for turns, and I guess they try to do it here. We'll try to reload this if it comes back up to the top. Want to try to respect that. Still nothing doing on Intel as I'm sitting at VWAP, but I didn't get that last fill on the wick. So I'll let it come back up, see if it wants to lose VWAP again, and try that short. Oh, there was something else that we forgot. I forgot to mention AMD. Kathy Wood bought AMD, apparently, yesterday. And AMD, once again, somebody's selling AMD around 104. I don't know who. Maybe Kathy Wood was buying it yesterday and holding it up, but AMD back to the downside. So this was one, when I don't get Intel, like, oh, maybe you can short AMD. You're going to have to patiently wait for another pop. So right at the low of the day on pretty much everything.
Yeah, AMD
with Tesla breaking down. Oh, the other.
Dude, we're $1 in the money on the futures.
Mara is not going down. So it's looking like it's holding that $12 level. Bitcoin's holding up pretty well. If we do get a plunge, I'm still going to like that 12 long on Mara. I almost forgot to put an order in.
Man, there's that one club. It's oh yeah, there it is. That's the club, Sharif. This is it, Joseph. There it is, man. It's the dollar club as the TQs, man. Just absolutely. And I just tweeted this out, man. I don't know what I'm doing here other than having fun with you guys every day. But I just said this. I think I'm becoming a futures trader. And I like it. So there it is, man. The TQs straight to the downside. This has been something that we've really adjusted to. I took it to heart, man. There was a lot of traders out there on this channel that were saying like, more futures, more life, right? And right there, now we come through. You like that more life reference? Okay, good, boys. As we go down into $60 right there for the futures. So we're starting to get out. We still got a third left. Let's see what happens. And I mean, as Neil and I have been talking about all morning, you know, if this is going to be one of those days today where we kind of just hang a bit, moves down like this probably need to be respected. And I'm going to start to get out. Like, we already nailed this move. We don't need to go all the way back up. We just punched them out at 24s there. Maybe not great out. I am bidding also 13s and then back down to $60 again. When you guys know, I mean, we can just go back to 5 minutes when I was like, I think we could get into here. And that's exactly where we did. So down into $60, man, we definitely maybe. Do you guys know where that's from? Like that one as well. So let me know if anybody knows that reference. Definitely maybe in the chat. No, not you, Adara. Anybody else in the chat? All right, so down there.
Darren knows every reference.
Yeah, exactly. So 83.50 coming into play there on Palantir. It looks like that's the bottom as that's starting to go. All right, there's the winner right there as we get ready to go to the Oasis concert there. It's completely sold out as they build a new stadium up at Downsview Park there for Oasis right there. So good call there, Eric. You win nothing but respect. So there it goes. Oasis, thank you so much.
High of days about to break on Apple, by the way.
Oh no, yeah.
So there is relative strength. Apple just held VWAP and got back to the high of the days. The market is absolutely flying. Reddit got to 105, so that was the next level. Well, that's an ominous price. Got to 105. No, the price I just got in. 106.66.
Oh.
But it just bounced off the 105 level. But I'm going to add Apple to the watch list here because if it's relatively strong when the market was heading down, you got to respect it. Let's go to Adara. I just heard the call.
I'm just seeing here, apparently, from what I'm seeing on X here, the CFO of Boeing has said that their all-new aircraft is still, quote, a ways off. Keep an eye on BA here. This one trying to break here into high of day, showing resistance at 171. Back to you.
Sharif is shocked
71
at that.
Oh, Boeing.
Play right there. Okay, new position alert. We did just short Palantir. If that's Randy, maybe he has a refill. If not, no, I just heard that thing.
No,
there, so not Randy. Okay, we're shorting now Palantir. So I don't know. Again, like, okay, there we go. All right, here we go. All right, Neil, there it is, man. 25 cents right now. Again, I don't know. You're still in both of your. Oh, back into Reddit. I like that trade. Again, here we go. Let's go, man. It's a face slapper one more time. Let's get to the downside. Palantir. Can we get low? Shorty got low.
Apple
and
bottom
then high
jeans,
again
along those lines.
right now. So there's Apple bottom jeans. You were just in Apple, weren't you? You were looking at Apple?
Well, Apple's relatively strong, but I'm not actually in the stock. We got to VWAP on Reddit, but I didn't get a full fill. It's, like I said, it's a little bit spready. I tried to grab it back through 106. Didn't get it till 106.66, which is a bit of a chase.
Bye-bye.
It popped to VWAP, so we grabbed it out there. We were able to get $1.50, but as I said, I was trying to get filled down at the 106 level, so ended up with less shares than we had the last time. So it won't make it back. It should have, but I didn't get a full position on it. Intel
what is Intel
still just chilling out at the bottom of the range here. So I'm trying to grab into this on any pop into VWAP that we can get. And SMCI, we took out 80%. It's trying to rally right back in. I haven't moved my stop. We still have it at this prior high, 38.85. If it curls there, I'll use the same stop and reload. Otherwise, get out and wait for the 39 highs.
So, yeah, I mean, I love trading futures, but yeah, maybe I'm an equity guy after all. Who knows? There goes Palantir down 50 cents now for that kind of a trade. And we did have a pretty full position on Palantir. And again, the reason why, 85.50 is our stop. We wicked up into these levels, man. The futures just went for a jog. I just thought the risk really worth it here for Palantir on that short. So here it is, man, 20 cents worth of a short, now giving me 55. We just got printed at 80s right there. So nice, or 75s. Nice move to the downside here for Palantir. We're out of already 70%, only holding, wow, only hold, okay, flush right now, PLTR. If you're, hey, look, Alex, man, I don't want you to sell at all, but if you're going to come in and sell, maybe just do it now. Get rid of some of those shares, Mr. Karp. But there's a nice move down there for Palantir as well. So, hey, man, we're in the building one more time. Look at Alibaba. Like that, what an avoid that was. We got in and got out immediately on Alibaba, avoiding that move down. But it's Palantir. We just got out of more down there as it hits VWAP. So, I mean, good trading there on PLTR. The futures they haven't gotten away from us by any stretch of imagination, but they have made that move back up. We'll take another piece out there. VWAP's at 50. So, hey, if the market wants to fall back, fine. We've already made our bed here with that play. And then Palantir, as though it's making, it is making a move back up. We'll take another piece out right now. Like we said, we have about that 35%. Now we have less as we take some out there at 02s. We actually have something else out at 85 if that does wind up printing. So exactly as we had discussed today, I feel like is what's happening. The market is just coming back in a little bit in potential barcode kind of day. So now we'll wait to see if there is a flush back, taking some more out there on Palantir, just being super conservative. So we're only at right now, we're at about a third of what we were at yesterday. And we only traded till about 1 p.m. But at the end of the day, good start here. We'll go 2 for 2 with Palantir and the futures. And the futures were really big. It's just a matter of waiting to see what happens now, right? Top wicks there, 60, 80s. Neil's in Reddit. Well, you just, I'll throw it back to you, but
we're out of Reddit. Reddit obviously could have been a little bit better as it just busted through VWAP and got to 109. But that retracement, it's always a VWAP retrace for me, and we weren't able to grab everything we wanted. I thought I canceled. I guess I didn't cancel that bid. That's so weird. It was not there before, and I swear I canceled that 106. So we didn't get that 106 till I got 106.60. SMCI on the reload just blew through the top. So the initial short good, the second one not so much as it just rounded the top. Gonna have to look for a mean reversion trade, something along the lines of what we saw like right in here, but that was like 11 o'clock when it did a mean revert. So there's plenty of time for it to make another high, put in a lower high, reverse the trend, and we'll jump back into it. Rigetti, which we have not gotten short because it never got to 11, looking at VWAP just like we're looking the same thing for Intel. So want to be short on Rigetti, still want to be short on Intel. It just hasn't given us an opportunity to get in. And I haven't really looked at QBTS. Apple's still very strong relative to the overall market though. So you're still seeing, I don't have a pun for Apple. But what's this wick? You're still seeing a lot of strength over in Apple. As I got to get rid of this wick because that's just scaling is just ridiculous.
Well, if you do have any of the trades that I put on today, maybe you are looking for a new car, and it could be this VinFast. Meet VinFast. Hey, VinFast, how's it going? Vietnam's all-electric EV powerhouse, driving a new era of global green mobility. In 2024, they delivered 97,000 EVs, and now they're on track to double that this year, with expansions in dynamic markets like Indonesia and the Philippines, plus a fresh green series for commercial fleets. VinFast is electrifying possibilities, powered by bold vision and proven execution. This emerging trailblazer is forging a sustainable future, fast, efficient, and impactful. Keep your eyes on VinFast. Vietnam's dynamic EV leader is rewriting the rules of mobility. Buckle up. This ride is just getting started. Thank you, VinFast. Make sure you do scan that QR code to get some VinFast in your life and some more information on it, right? I mean, shout out to VinFast. Okay, here comes the market.
Good.
Yeah, I think it's a good-looking car. That is for sure. We've seen a couple of those on the road in and around the Toronto area. My wife first saw it at the CNE 2 years ago when I remember she sent that, and we talked about that live on the show. All right, so we just dipped into 51s again there on Palantir. We might as well put that bid. So right now on Palantir, man, 10% left. 12.5% left. I'm doing like 2.5% tranches or so. So, we don't have the very bottom. We don't have the very tops, but we've done pretty good there on Palantir. The futures are right back to flat. So again, man, we only have on this one, we have about 20% left of the TQs. We just got a good fill there. We could reload this. I'm not going to. Well, you know what? We can reload it a little bit higher, actually, on the NASDAQ. Our stop is 6105s, so we can try to take this up here. All right, now it's starting to go. This is what I mean. It's probably, all right, we'll try it here at 98s. I mean, for 7 handles worth of risk, there it is. So, all right, so we got, who did that? Joe, nice Joe. All right, so there it is, man. Good talk there on the futures. We barely put anything back in. It's going to be a big trade. Palantir and the futures. We'll go two for two over here. We did try a little bit of a reload there at 98s and out at 05s. 7 handles on half the position again. So definitely a good one. We'll probably throw back, I don't know, 10% there on that TQ trade, but at the end of the day, it looks like things are trying to break a little bit higher. So glad that we have that 11 or so % left on Palantir. Let me take another piece out here at 13s because 85.50. If we break 85.50, we're gone. So it's 20 cents worth of risk right now. We're short at 32s. So let's take another piece out. Now we're down there, 7.5% left on that.
Maybe 2 stocks that are not going up in the market. Okay, check that. Maybe Tesla's trying to go. Intel's not going, and Tesla's not going. So Intel got adjacent to VWAP. It didn't quite get there. It just tagged 70s. I was able to get 68.5. I use a lot of midpoints on Intel. I was able to get 78.5, but I wanted to get it in the 70s, which is where VWAP actually is. 80 to me is where you're wrong and waiting for another level. So I'm going to leave some offers in there. Next available pop, we'll see if we can't get in. Tesla's the other one that's not going. Tesla holding the bottom end of the range as the market's breaking out the high. So, I mean, there's things that are going absolutely parabolic. I see Tesla as weak. I see Intel as weak. I still see Rigetti as weak as well. Might not we use VWAP on this chart because it's missing a little bit of data. But Rigetti I like to the pre-market bottoms, which is about $10.50. Yesterday's resistance spot. So, yeah, I only want to be short these weaker names that I'm seeing and not much. I mean, Nvidia's not doing anything. It's kind of sitting in the middle of the range. Apple's the one that's the real absolute beast. And of course, we brought the news on Boeing just to cover it because nobody's traded it here just yet. It is still up 6% and grinding higher. So Boeing CEO was talking at a conference, and they must like what they hear with Boeing. Leave some astronauts stranded, and your stock goes up 6%.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they came back, so
well,
at least,
everyone's safe.
It's like the worst case scenario.
But thanks to who?
Who? Elon?
Elon.
Yeah, Elon gets a lot of credit for everything these days, it seems like. All right, Yeah. It's glad to have them back. That is for sure. All right, Tesla's starting to break lower, man. Again, so like I said, we're just going to try to keep it very, very close to the chest today. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day, but not unrealized because we did get stopped out of that TQs. But there's Tesla, man. We talked about 228 maybe being a situation or a level that we wanted to look at. I'm not so sure about that anymore. The market is hitting highs, and Tesla's like turning around. So I'm not in love with that trade. The TQs, I'd rather short, I think, through 61 if we do break below. I know there's some of you asking me about that TQs trade and if we're looking to get a little bit more in on that. Yes and no. Like, I don't really think it's a great reload there to that upside. I guess I'll have to put it in the chat there.
I said we.
Yes, that's okay, Rob. I'll just put it in here, always. Yeah, no problem. I just put in there the word always, so that way that's pretty generic, right? So we'll see if we can get that. Thanks, Rob, for coming through. But we'll wait to see what happens here with Palantir. There it goes, man. I'm going to take another bid on this right now. 76. That would be nice if we could get that one. So again, here we go. Palantir. We just took a piece out there at 76. If this will drip down, good for that. The TQs, I could see that being a trade up here, but again, I don't know, man. The futures are above. We're above VWAP. We're above everything. The only other trade that we had interest in today, and I know you're still in Intel right now.
Dumping.
I do like Intel, and was Alibaba. That was the only other trade that we put a trade on there. Okay, here we go, man. It's now, what's that club again? There it is. Let's wait to see what happens with Palantir. Can we break through 50? We're right now at possible support. So here we go, man. Good day continues right here at Trader TV Live.
Yeah, this market is, I mean, it's trying to go, but you've got a very distinct difference between a host of names. So it's something for everybody. I'm not going to jump back in early on SMCI. Like every time we've gotten in, we try to keep it to get out the high, get out VWAP, and keep it tight to the vest. It's like way too big of a wick. I tried to jump in at 40, but if you're risking it at 20, that's fine, but I'm not gonna short at 75 to 40.20. So missed that bit of a curl because it was a little bit too quick. Rigetti keeps on dumping. I feel like Nvidia is starting to look like you're not going to get a push. With the market as strong as it is, you're not going to get that push to the 120 level. It's putting in lower highs, and the Jensen top at 119 is holding pretty firmly. So if we can't get more of Intel at VWAP, maybe we will at next pop. I want to look to one of the other chip names, either Nvidia or AMD. The difference between the two being AMD is chilling much weaker underneath VWAP and prior day lows. So it's just a better setup to me. Maybe it doesn't move as much as Nvidia. Had a bit of barcode action because I guess Cathie Wood was buying it yesterday. But that prior low and VWAP are lining up as we speak, and the market's breaking highs, and it's not. When I see that happening, want to short it here, give it to that top on just above VWAP right in there. So give it to like the quarter mark on AMD. Oh, and I still like Mara. Mara at that 12.
Oh, yeah, Mara, yeah. I'm going to try. I just talked myself into it a little bit to take a little short here. Okay, now it's going to go. I was thinking like if we broke 61, we basically did and then came right back against us right now. So we're short right now at 07s here. I'm going to put a little bit of a bid down, near 61 in case that goes. But I'm really not 100% sure here what to do. Thank you, Rob. Oh, my favorite cup too. Thank you, Rob, for that. Rob does make the best coffees, though. Like Randy's is okay. Rob's the best. Thanks, Rob, for that one. There's a lot of work going to be happening here. You're going to see Rob a lot more, I feel like, in the back.
There's a lot of things that are trying to happen around here that is going to be interesting. Stay tuned. We're always trying to improve things, and some renovations might be happening. So AMD, we just got into. Intel does not want to pop. Like, it's just dropping. Wasn't able to add to it. Again, going to cancel orders at VWAP at this point as it just broke low of the day. Just to give you a higher time frame look, the 200 period on Intel is at $24. It's at $24.40. I'm covering at 24, and I think if it does any kind of a push underneath 24, there should be a bounce in the 23 half range. I can't imagine it's going to go down that much on a Fed day, but just to be prepared for it, 24 is the for sure on Intel.
Yeah, the market's starting to go upside here and breaking some of those highs. So, like I said, obviously we'll be giving back something here. We'll still be green, obviously, on the TQs, but there it is. Did it break 25? There it goes anyway. So there it goes, breaking through the highs. That's always the risk when you're trading futures, is dancing with these highs. So when you're here, for me anyways, especially just starting to trade the futures, as you guys know, it's just one of those things where it's a little risky to take something this early and then holding on to it, because we don't know. This is up 0.7. The NASDAQ could be up 2% here today, especially being a Fed day. We'll wait to see where the interest lies. But yeah, a little bit risky there. Palantir, not risky at all, as that's continuing to go downside. I can't believe I'm saying that, as normally it is a risky trade. Uber makes that move to the upside right there. So we're almost out of all of Palantir. We actually only have 5% left. Uber, nice move up for Uber right now today, breaking through $72. So this takes out day's high as the futures continue to make that move. So yeah, man, there could be a play here in Uber as well. So that could be a good long at these levels. We talked about JP Morgan. I haven't looked at this today. 237. Okay, this is a good one. We talked about that one in the long-term account. So far, so good right there, as it's printing a little bit, up another 1% here. So that isn't horrible as we go. But yeah, we can go over. It's 10 o'clock. I'm not sure what news numbers are coming out today. I mean,
the only thing today is the Fed.
Right, okay.
Oh, wait a minute, it's Wednesday. There should be a crude oil inventory.
There would be crude at 10:30, but as far as 10 o'clock, yeah, I think we're okay. All right, Adara, what's up? Over with you.
This market pushing higher. S&P 500 at day's highs. The NASDAQ looking pretty similar here, up about 0.8%. SPY up about 0.6%. Out of this rate decision, again, we're widely pricing in that there will be no cut or no rate change. It's also worth noting here, around 10 a.m., I'm seeing scheduled a call between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine. So keep an eye on this. We know geopolitical tensions can and have moved this market, especially as of late. Boeing on watch here, initially spiking higher, now giving up some of this move, but company CFO Brian West was speaking here at the Bank of America Global Industrials Conference starting around 9:05 a.m. It is worth noting here, not a lot of these comments were necessarily positive. Specifically, Brian West did in fact say that we're not really going to be expecting any new models, I guess, for Boeing as of late, but regardless, pushing higher on that move anyway. Then we have Williams-Sonoma. This one is an earnings day one play, sharply to the downside, expecting a net revenues for 2025 either to decline by 0.15% or actually incline by 1.5%. Also, though, despite this guidance a little bit mixed, they did actually beat on EPS and on sales, guys. Back to you.
EPS
Yeah, I mean, GameStop's moving, Boeing is moving, there's a lot moving, but AMD just broke through VWAP. The bounce is definitely on. The market almost a full 1% to the upside.
Yeah.
Like the only long, and I'll slap the fail on that, but like to me, the biggest miss, you saw me at the open like staring down Reddit. I did, you know what, I haven't traded Reddit in a bit. It was much less liquid than I thought, and so when I missed my fill, we took it all out at VWAP. Kind of a missed opportunity. You're going to see it go all the way back up to the top. So I have to slap a fail on myself for that one because that was kind of the, you don't see Reddit down 10% very often for an SSR bounce play. So you want to make sure you get it in that moment, and I didn't. So unfortunately for me, Reddit's going to stink. Tesla's still underneath VWAP. Intel's still underneath VWAP, trying to make some moves higher. But at this point, you got to start thinking when we're breaking out like this, we're almost at 20K, like where are you headed? And are you at least at a spot where we would slow things down and you're at least $1 away on the Qs from that kind of a level? So I'd almost like to see if even on a Tesla or even on an Intel, are you at least getting back up into this supply zone in here where you might find some chop in the futures? And that way, if things slow down and calm down, it makes more sense to try to reload. Because right now, the longs are working. And there aren't too many that I was absolutely in love with. Like I was thinking SSR bounce on Reddit. Apple's now completely gone. Like you're detached from VWAP. You're what, $3 away from VWAP, $2.50 away from VWAP. So there's not much in terms of obvious dip buy levels on this particular name. So going to be hunting for some other
long
strength that we can jump in. Nvidia, eh? Nice.
No, I just want to say that because it's about to go long right now, breaking through this 117.60 area. I'm just going to go long there and then use like basically 40s or so as our low, like that little move right there. So we'll put on a decent sized position right here, try to see if we can get something going for Nvidia here today. So here we go, man. I don't know how we got 65s there, but we did. So let's see if Nvidia wants to go a little ham right now, back up to that upside for Nvidia. Again, stop, I think pretty comfortable 117.40s. So if we, again, this is a bigger position for me. What just happened? Okay, there it is. Nice move upside right now for Nvidia. Here we go. Let's see if we can get going now. Again, you know, we like the name. Strong stock, obviously. Early today, up 2%, doesn't mean it's going to hold, but we're taking that shot right now big time with Nvidia. The largest position I've had in a very long time now is with Nvidia right here. Right now, well, whatever, I can tell you, we just took 500 shares. It's not huge, but for a break, this is a big level, so we'll wait to see what winds up happening right now. There we go. So it's a nice move up there, couple $100. We'll see what winds up happening with Nvidia as I'm just piecing out like very, very small pieces at a time because I want to see this name run. So here we go. It's Nvidia time. It's up into the 90s right here. We only had a 25 cent stop, so it's just right now getting back into that spot. So we need to see this go up a little bit. If we can get out of half and then use house money, we'll take it. But again, I want to even hold more than half and see where we can go now on Nvidia. Here we go, Neil. Big time position, obviously. Let's just see where it goes. Upside, we'll probably add to it if we can go. It's kind of going meme crazy, but for right now, we'll go 3 for 3, man. Big trades today. TQ's big trade. Palantir. The fact that Palantir is still down here, big trade. And then there goes Nvidia rejecting again off of that level. So rejecting right there off of 118. We could be in for a downturn. So let's start to clear a little bit out even more now on Nvidia because, hey, you know, you have a good day, then you can throw it right back, right? And so if this is going to be one of those days, we might have just turned around off 19.9. There's where you have to look at the futures when you're in positions, especially into names like Nvidia and whatnot, because you know, you do get that little bit of a pull against the future.
That turn was quick because Intel just turned off VWAP and like went quickly to the quickly underneath. So we tried to grab it on the way back in, waited for the futures to get to that level. Wasn't able to get that reload. We'll try again and see if we can't grab it. But you're seeing some strength. So SMCI, which we initially liked short, is now holding. Prior resistance is turning into support. So if you had the reversion, great. But now you're holding VWAP. The level that was a resistance level, you're up 4%, is turning into a support level. So you got to be able to try to flip it up. As long as we're weak on Intel under VWAP, I like that one short. but this is above VWAP and holding higher lows, and I like the resistance turning into some support for SMCI. I don't want to take breakouts in this market. I'd rather play the consolidation range in here, giving it to that prior 39.25. Vivid distortion, what futures are we looking at? The M contract. So if I quote the NQ, I'm looking at the M contract, which is, it does more volume already, but there's not the rollover until Friday, but I'm looking at the M contract on the NQ. So if you hear me say that price, it's probably different from the previous quarter.
All right, thanks, Joe, for that. Palantir still looking to go a little bit lower right now. I'm okay. Wow, a good flush here for PLTR. As the market continues to go higher, Palantir continues to go lower. So this trade right there, a big one here today for PLTR. Palantir will actually be my P&L number one, depending on what winds up happening with this Nvidia trade. We just got some, we're getting some more out. We actually only have half left of Nvidia, waiting for it to go now. I have another out at what? Wow, there goes Palantir official. Right there. There it goes, man. $1. We just got 85.32s there as we short that name into the ground for Palantir. I don't know if it's going to go into the ground or not, but yeah,
Lonely Island.
Yeah, who knows, man. We'll as I said, it's going to be a 3-for-3 day today. And Neil said something yesterday when he was 1 for 4, and that is still being green. And there's been so many days, and that made me think, so I'm glad Neil brought this up, is that there's been so many days where I'll go like 4 for 5, but that one trade as actually puts me red on the day like that. So that's why, and I say this all the time, and I think Neil just kind of confirmed it yesterday, share sizing is the most important out of everything, because like you said there, you can bat 25% and be green, on the day.
That was the problem with Reddit.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, so that's what. So I'll throw it back in just 1 second. But that's exactly. So that's the problem, and it's like here, and I'm saying that because of Nvidia. Because again, I didn't have 500 shares on Palantir. I didn't have 500 shares of that TQQ trade, but I did put on some risk here in Nvidia. So even though, and look, it's working out, it's fine. I don't want to put on a huge amount of risk today because we talked about the directional, and now it looks like it's up. But to that point, and to the point with you about Reddit there, is that it's one idea that could blow up in front of your face. So that's why risk management, and even right now as I'm seeing this struggle at 118, do I like this trade? Yes. Do I think it can break through? Yes. Is it the long that I want to have? Yes. So for that, we're out of half because we just came right back up into day's high. So if we could put, like I said, a couple $100 in here and then now watch it sing, great. But I feel like playing with house money now is super important, and you want to make sure that you're able to, capture some of those profits and share size accordingly. So I feel like we did that right there, but you could see right now Nvidia is having a little bit of a day here up at 118. So if we can get a little bit more out, we'll do that right now, and we just did there at 90s. So far so good. Consolidation and a breakout, Elon. That's exactly what I'm waiting for. I just don't want it to break down.
Elon in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. For a second,
imagine the real Elon
what
was
does Elon have to do with Nvidia?
Oh, Jensen Huang's
on CNBC. We did the same thing. Jensen Huang's on CNBC.
Why don't we have CNBC
right
up there?
So, okay, you confuse me there, Fabian, because that's not what Jensen Huang was talking about. But yeah, Jensen Huang is on CNBC, so watch out for Nvidia possibly making moves. Let me quickly finish the thought on Reddit before I get back over to SMCI. No, it was more along the lines of the spread on this stock was wide, so it was difficult to get into position, which was easy on the way down because you just get filled. But when it actually made the bounce, I ended up missing the punch. And then because I was chasing at that point, ending up in a quarter of what I wanted. And this is the result of Reddit. Reddit should have just been the one trade for me. But it's not, because when I got this one, it was for less than any of the other longs before. We're going to go back to Adara in just a second. SMCI is trying to get back to the high. No pun intended. But I want to keep reloading on this trend. As long as it holds on to this prior resistance spot and VWAP, we're going to try to hold the reversal in SMCI at 5%. Let's go to Adara. Yeah.
Keep an eye here on Nvidia and on the market as a whole. We have Jensen Huang, as mentioned earlier, CEO of the company, speaking on CNBC, but he made a comment here on tariffs that is pretty interesting, saying, quote, in the near term, the impact of tariffs will not be meaningful. It's unclear if he means this for his business or for the market in general, but he said the near-term impact of tariffs will, quote, not be meaningful. Comments on tariffs from Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang. Back to you.
So that was, yeah, I mean, and this is exactly what we just talked about, right? And we just got stopped out there breaking through 50s. But the idea there on Nvidia was the exact same as everything, right? And that is like right there, I'm going to try to go back in if it breaks. But, you know, you don't want to be in a name when this guy's talking on CNBC all about tariffs, right? So that was that flush. We'll see if it holds now. It may not. We'll try it one more time, thinking that maybe it was a flush, because I still think this name wants to go higher. But like unfortunately, when Brendan gets off, we'll figure this out, because we need to get that, or maybe they're busy, but I like to get CNBC up behind us if we can, because I like to know when that guy's off of CNBC. But there it is. We're going to get right back in right now into Nvidia, and we'll give it a go. So we're back long there, 160 right here, 117.60. That flush could have just happened on that news, and if it continues to go, fine. But here's our out right where it was. It's at 35s. Okay, I put it at 39s. So I'm going to actually just make it very, very simple. 117.34. If we break below that, we're just going to get out of everything. Okay, here comes in. That was that recent flush move. So the futures, if they're going to do this at the top, maybe we just short the futures against 19.9. Potentially that's a play there too. So let's be careful with this. I love to see this back up to 118. We're here for that ride. Let's see if it happens. Right now we're into Nvidia. And Palantir is just the name that keeps on giving. Downside for PLTR.
Oh, so the runner from yesterday in the afternoon, KBSX, is halted to the upside. So anyone that was watching the afternoon show, this was the one that was actually strong. Halted 431 with a tap, theoretical auction price of 450 for everyone watching. It's down 21%. Obviously, it gapped down, but pretty decent move here on KBSX. I think this is the one with the 68% short float, or maybe that was the other one. I'd have to double. You know what? There was two, and I think they began with the same letter, and I was mixing them up.
Yeah, wow.
So let me just double check. No, it's not. It was another one that had that. This is a small float at 34 million. So it's just a small float, not a big short float on KBSX, but it is halted. Volatility halt should be open in the next couple of minutes here, and then jumping back on over to the market. Well, this isn't the market, but that stock's not going to follow the market. SMCI holding trend to the upside. So we're now longing SMCI, looking for it to break out into the 40 range. I still believe 41, where everything turned, and in the keynote speech, is another shot to try a short. But until we get there, we want to be looking at the long.
Yo, Randy.
And Intel, short under VWAP, still the same plan of action. Apple is still super strong as well. So Apple, as I said, detached from VWAP. There hasn't been really any kind of a deep pullback. I'm not chasing any highs here. So to me, the futures are at resistance. So I don't want to be involved in this one punching any highs.
Right here.
We're just going to be working on that SMCI long. Which one, Fabian? Sorry. I didn't catch you there, Fabian. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Look. So there, we'll slap a fail on that last reload there. Oops, that's Palantir. Palantir, we're not failing on that, that's for sure. But we slapped that last fail there on Nvidia. You know, like we said, man, we're here to try to make something happen. And right now, Nvidia is making it the other way, like rain down. It's down quite a lot. I mean, it just made that move off 118. And that's why we cleared it out in the first place. But there's VWAP at 117. So sometimes we get stuck like looking too close, but right there, man, if we break below this 117, then that's it. Right now, 27 cents worth of risk. So we'd like to get this thing back up like into the 40s before we take something out. So here we come. Maybe we can get that, but a break back down below. We do have that. I got to put that stop in right now. So 116, like, you know, if we break below 117, we might as well just get out. 116.99. Excuse me. I don't think slippage will be that bad. I'm feeling like there's a lot of liquidity here right now. But yeah, the Intel long. The Nvidia long right now not really pumping high like it just was 10 minutes ago. So I know a lot of you, Elon, you were talking about that, breaking 118. Looks like that was just a great short, you know, like making moves top to bottom there. That that was pretty clearly the top. So we probably should be short. So hopefully you guys have been successful on that short. But right now we'll just hold this. We're out of the money, 10 cents. I still like it. I'm willing to hold it. But here it comes in right now into 117. So Nvidia looks like it's going to get hit. All right, now it looks like we're ready.
Yeah, markets are heading higher, but also gold prices are inching higher, closer to $3,000 an ounce. Looking to hedge against the chaos in these markets?
Yes.
Meet NGLD, your defensive gold exposure without the headaches of physical ownership. Using a low-cost royalty model, NGLD, Nevada Canyon Gold, avoids costly mining operations, delivering stronger profit potential, even as inflation rises. Focused on Nevada's rich and stable gold fields, we sidestep overseas risk. And by bundling smaller royalties for premium sales, we create clear shareholder value. Secure your portfolio with NGLD, your strategic gold investment for uncertain times, which I guess uncertainty is the name of the game.
That's what it is right
and
now.
part of uncertainty is, well, I was short SMCI 3 times. One of them worked. Now we're long. We're trying to flip it. It's still holding VWAP for now. I haven't reloaded it yet. The market's still at that top. And again, this is the M contract, but the market's still right at that place where we dropped at the open yesterday. So it says 19.92, and again, it's the M contract. So as long as we're sitting in here, I don't want to be adding to it. I want to be finding those short opportunities at resistance, while also holding on to the long in case we punch through. So SMCI relatively strong. That's why we're in it, to the long side, and Intel relatively weak underneath VWAP as we've reloaded Intel at VWAP looking for a push back down to some lows. But if it takes out that high, got to jump out of INTC. Apple's the other one that's super strong. And I know a lot of people have been asking about Tesla. I mean, I like Tesla too. He's kind of in the middle of the range. I like 220 and I like 240. So if it breaks out here, I don't think I'll be involved in a breakout, but I don't mind a VWAP retracement if it shows that kind of strength.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess I can cancel my 2550s and so on and so forth on Intel for right now. That looks like...
Yeah, I'd probably cancel those.
Yeah, so I just did that.
Well,
I don't want to...
Not impossible, nothing.
Not impossible. I mean, I like to long on Intel at certain levels, like you've been talking about it, so we'll just go over to Nvidia quickly. All right, so... Not a huge crazy trade, but we were able to get long again down here at 117. And then as Neil was talking, like I'm fine getting out in the 40s, mid 40s. Our best fill is like the 48 level there. So far so good on that one. But this is not a very strong stock. So I'm trying to sort of negotiate into this trade again, even a little bit better maybe than we have been. And just trying to respect that bottom because there's that 25 cents, right? So we didn't quite get it. We got into the mid 40s. So this could be an L if it does go back down and we break through VWAP down here at 117. So that's a trade that I'm definitely watching out here very, very closely. That's going to be Nvidia. The next offer I have is nowhere. So like we're trying to get up here 60s. Okay, here we go. I'll put one at 55. So we'll get there, and then we'll put another bigger order at 65 just to see if it wants to go. Rob, okay, so it's back. Sorry, Randy did it. So it's on CNN? Would we not subscribe to CNBC anymore or what? All right, so we'll get CNBC up. What's up, Adara?
Here is the IWM. We're going to do our small cap recap. This one pushing nicely to the upside, much like the rest of the market for the Russell 2000. Right now, just shy of 205. Here's Lex and Fintechs. LX, this is one of 2 Chinese ADR tickers on the small cap recap with earnings related catalyst. We'll start here with LX. This one nicely to the upside here. Very few red candles to be seen. We're near day's highs, or if not at day's highs. And this is their earnings report for LX. Next up, we have TEN. This one here, XHLD, penny stock, announcing a $1 million stock repurchase program yesterday midday, so kind of a day 2 catalyst. Last but not least, a day 3 earnings play for LSC. This is also a Chinese ADR, much like LX. Lishan Energy reporting pretty weak earnings numbers. This was back on Monday morning, so day 3 earnings play for LSE alongside LX and XHLD, some other small cap movers as well, including KBSX and TRNR, guys. Back.
All right, thanks, Adara.
Thank you, Adara, for the
lots
update.
of movers today. That is for
There's no shortage of movers in today's market.
Movers and shakers.
All right, now that you just did another wick on Intel, you can see I got some bids out underneath, but I just saw a few people mentioning a name from 2 days ago.
Which was?
Affirm. Affirm in a big way is making a power move. It's a squeeze type play on Affirm. It did this It did this 2 days ago, I was going to say yesterday, and there was a huge reversion at 48. So if it gets to 48, just putting it on the radar, and thank you guys for pointing it out. Anytime it goes this parabolic, I like those types of pullbacks when it breaks a trend. It did so at 48 yesterday, so I'd watch out for that 48 level again today. But Intel, we reloaded. We have not reloaded on SMCI. Tesla doesn't seem like it wants to break out yet. That's not happening. With the market running into resistance, Apple is finally... I'll go back to Apple. Apple's finally pulling back here. I keep trying to get rid of this wick. The wick keeps coming back. Like the cat comes back the very next day. So 216 right in here is VWAP. It's respected it all morning long on Apple. Like this is it riding VWAP. So if it comes back down in, let's just try to keep things simple. Didn't have a lot of long ideas outside of Reddit, which I admit I bungled a little bit there. If we can get back into VWAP, going to try Apple. And Intel working off of VWAP in the other direction. Let's see if we can't get the low of the day. The stock is incredibly weak. Oh, and I have another fail to slap. Like, why am I not short Rigetti? I liked Rigetti. Rigetti yesterday in the afternoon. I actually said to Sean that the biggest move down was SMCI. That actually wasn't true. Rigetti moved almost more, I think on a percentage basis, more off the Jensen Huang speech. And this is breaking lows when the market's at the highs and breaking $10. So the next available pop, I should be in this one, and we've been way too kind of focused on SMCI, which wasn't doing what we wanted for the short trade. So continuing to get out of Intel off these lows, it's still weak as far as I'm concerned. But Rigetti, that was a missed opportunity. What the heck is that doing?
I just wonder if you go into a club and you go into it twice. You know, I mean, there's Palantir right now. Thank you so much, Tammy and everybody else out there. This Palantir is really starting to go downside right now. Now $2 in the money. I was about to get a piece out there at past support, but I was like, nah, let's just wait to see what winds up happening with Palantir here today, as it looks like it does not hold anything. Maybe we will get that $82, but if we're going to try to be very specific about it right there, you got to clear up some of your trades, right? I mean, we don't need this thing to go all the way back, and then we look like, okay, 83.75. Maybe down into here, 83 change right there for Palantir could be something. So we'll wait to see if that comes in again. So we did get taken out. I'm honestly like, okay. This is just such a darn roller coaster here with Nvidia, man. Like, it does get stopped out. Like, I'm, not going to sit here and be like, we didn't get stopped out there at O's, because we did. There's the stop out at O's, and there's the buy right back again. So I don't know, man, what exactly we're doing trying to chase this. What was a cascading waterfall right there, right into some past levels. So right now, 116.80. It's been okay. It's too bad. Like, I just feel bad that we didn't look at that 118 a little closer there as well. Dell the day trader is right here. I want to say a big shout out to you, because thanks for that, first of all. And we know, a big congratulations. We'll go, oh my God, and awesome right there, as we know that you are a new father. So what's up to Dell the day trader there? So thank you so much for that. Get ready for that journey in your life. Obviously, one of the best.
The most important journey.
Yeah, exactly. The most important journey.
Well, in our opinion.
In our opinion, yeah. Others, maybe the journey to the gym might be important and things like that. But for right now, what's up to Dell, the day trader? Congratulations, and we'll give a big high five and a thumbs up and all of that. I'll go high five and for that. So thank you so much for your support. And again, one of the OGs as part of that. Do I still have the OK, I'm reloaded animation? Says Eduardo. Let me see. Yes, but not for long. There goes Nvidia. We did reload it, but wow. Palantir is really coming in, but okay, there it is. We're out of the 200 period. We might just have to forget about this Nvidia long idea that we had, because looks like the short is the right idea, but Palantir is the one that's really starting to make us happy here, as that goes now $2 and getting lower. Maybe we'll get that 82 after all. I'm going to sit right here, 82.80. If we get that on Palantir, then that'll be pretty good. So. All right, you know what? I'm going to wait at 83. We'll take an 83 bid on Palantir. How about that?
So I'm going to just very quickly here. I'm not reloading SMCI right now, but since VWAP, it's got a trend line that it's now following. If we lose that, I'm going to jump out. So if it breaks the prior bar from that trend line, which is about 39.4, I'm going to jump out. If it holds a trend, then we can reload. It's just with the market at that high, I wanted some confirmation that we're going to actually continue that upward trend. Intel right back into 24.5 in the lows, so it is holding the bottom end of the range here, 24.75 to 24.5. It's broken it once to the downside. Let's see if it can break it again. I still think you can see 24, which, reminder, 200 period moving average on the daily. I think that's going to be a bounce area for Intel if we're able to get there. Crude oil is coming out in the next minute or so, so it is Wednesday, so in about a minute you're going to get crude oil inventories. And yeah, there's only two we're in, and it was rightfully pointed out to me that you could have shorted QBTS, and it might have been a better short. It was Rigetti that I was looking at when I made that comment because we shorted Rigetti yesterday. I didn't really look at QBTS today. They're probably basically the same chart. So if this one comes back up, it's been respecting VWAP and respecting lower highs. Now I want to look at where was support before. In the afternoon, it was at 10.25. So if we come back in there, want to look for the short on Rigetti. I pay for locates on this and not QBTS today.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even QBTS. I was actually, let me have a quick look at that one because we were looking at 1050 there for QBTS, and that just like whoops came right in again, feeling like it's a sell the news event ahead of what is tomorrow's Quantum Day over there at GTC. I mean, you saw what it did to Nvidia, right? All right, back over to Adara right now. A build on crude. Let's go find out why.
We have 1.745 million here for the crude oil inventories versus 1 million expected. Then we get EIA gasoline inventories also higher than expected here, negative 0.527 million versus negative 3 million. So again, about negative 500,000 versus negative 3 million expected. EIA distillate inventory is actually a bit of a draw here, negative 2.812 million versus negative 0.5 million expected. Now let's take a look here at XRP before we get into Bitcoin. This is the 15-minute chart for XRP. Interestingly enough, we start getting this volume spike around 9 a.m., though the big catalyst for Ripple actually came yesterday, about 21 hours ago. The CEO of Ripple Labs, Brad Garlinghouse, actually posting on X that the SEC is going to drop its appeal against Ripple. To my knowledge, we haven't actually heard anything about this case from the SEC itself, but we know similarly with what happened here to Coinbase and Robinhood, where their CEOs announced that the SEC dropped the case before the SEC officially announced the drop. It could be that type of situation. Regardless, Ripple's certainly on watch here with this volume increase, so it's giving back some of the move. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Nice uptrend here on the 15-minute chart, and on the daily, we are continuing to consolidate here, potentially looking to break out this lower highs, lower lows pattern. The most recent lower high here was that 85.3. Currently, we're trading just below 84,000. So let's see if we're able to break above that level and continue to push higher using the slightly higher low here around 81,000 from yesterday as some potential support. In terms of other crypto names here, Bitcoin doing nicely up about 3%, but Ethereum is the real star of the show, up about 7% here and back above 2,000. XRP up 11%. We have Solana up 7%, Cardano about 7%, Doge 5%. So really great look for a lot of these crypto tickers today, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. And one update, when I mentioned Rigetti looking for the shorts, if this gets down to like 950, I'd look for a reversion bounce play. That's just a big level on Rigetti. The quantum event is tomorrow. Nvidia's quantum event, I should say, not the quantum event. Like it's Nvidia's thing.
The event.
Yeah, and we were just expecting you could see some fireworks. It's been a sell the last couple of days on these names, but if you do get down to 950, I would at least look for a bounce on Rigetti. We haven't gone into it at all today. SMCI said I would not reload unless it held trend. And how many times am I, start? No? Is the 15-minute going? Here it is. I don't know why the 3-minute wouldn't go, but I'll use the 15-minute. It broke the trend, so no reload. Just jump out just under break even. We lost on the shorts, made on the long, but we're still down because we're short like 3 times. Intel is still holding fort at the lows. I still think this one is a reload every chance. We can get it off of VWAP and try and play it for a break from here down into the 24 level. So this one's still working to the downside. Tesla has yet to break the range. Like Tesla's the one barcoding, man. Like it really hasn't done anything.
Was the bottom 228? Oh my God. Oh, no, not really. What is that?
Yeah, that's 229. Like it's just sort of sitting in the middle of the range right now. So kind of a nothing burger. And then the one that is strong is Apple. So my 3-minute just crashed there. So Apple looking relatively strong. I'd like to see it pull back a little tighter into VWAP, which I think about 216 here. So while it's on the dip, patience for this one to get into VWAP. It's already 10:30, so I don't want to chase too many things in here. Like, the only thing that's consistently been working is the Intel short right now, so it's relatively weak. And Apple's been a good long, so I want to see this make a rounded bottom or consolidated bottom. I'll get my 3-minute back up and see if we can get into Apple long.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know, man. Things are working out pretty good over here. And I mean, look what just happened on Palantir. Just before we went to Adara, what did we say we were doing? Bidding $83. So over here on our friendly X account, we initially started posting about our Palantir when we were short early. Then all of a sudden, there's the out right there on that as that continues to go higher now. I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. It's not like we just sat there and got the fill, right? It's not like we weren't even like focused on it saying like, oh my God, where's this thing going? We just were like, okay, 83, we like that level. I said 82.80 right there could have been that bottom, but I just decided to take it out there at 83. We talked about that, so now we'll wait to see what winds up happening. We're again, like, we just keep fighting this stupid Nvidia trade, but like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, there's a bunch of scalps out again in the 20s. Like, so far so good on this reload, but we're only taking like, see, like now I'm thinking about getting some more out. I'll offer some more right now, and it sucks to do this, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, watching this thing just bleed all the way down. And I'm just trying to go long because the market's up right now. And I thought that maybe now that we're kind of through, we've heard some of that GTC. We heard Jensen yesterday. It did tank into 114.50. So we do know that there is that bid down there, but it looks like it may want to get back again. That's 115.50 today, 114.50 yesterday at close. So I don't know, man. I was just thinking of maybe a rebound day here for the name. It seems like maybe that's going to be wrong. Up 1.3%. It was up 2% when we were feeling pretty good about it. But right now, yeah, not very good about it at all. And here we go. If it breaks through 79, we're out. There goes Nvidia. Looks like it's going to be pretty weak. So, yeah, I think that, you know, I know you mentioned they're taking a couple of swings at some stocks, but I think we're taking probably too many here at this name as Nvidia, there it goes, doesn't want to work. So, all right. If anything, it's going to be a short the next time it pops up. But for right now, stop fighting that name, man. We took some wins, took some losses, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be like back and forth, spending fees and spending like mind capital on that.
Mental capital. I love this.
Yeah. No, I don't want my mind to be on
Apple's at VWAP.
But I mean, I still think it's a long. But
just for a quick update, I had mentioned Apple VWAP. It's not 216.
Right,
it's actually 216 and a half. So just a quick correction. We're going to go up to Adara. It is...
Maybe the futures?
This news? This news.
Keep an eye on Apple here. Apparently, the company has been told by EU antitrust regulators to open up its technology and mobile operating system to rival makers of smartphones, headphones, and virtual reality headsets. So smartphones, headphones, and virtual reality set makers, apparently now Apple has to open up to these with regards to how its technology and mobile operating systems are run. Also, we have some comments coming here from the EU with regards to Google, saying that Google's rules on the Google Play app prevent app developers from steering users to rival options, so the service fees go beyond what is justified. So EU regulators opining on both Google and Apple here, not in a great way either. So keep an eye on both of those stocks. Also keep an eye on some others in that category, for example, with virtuality resets with regards to Meta. Keep an eye on some potential sympathy or antipathy plays off of this headline. We also want to take a moment to thank our friends at eSignal. Thank you so much to eSignal. And traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We are waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, and capitalize because our platform is everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts that help you predict faster with back testing, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. So do not miss out. Execute your best trades now with eSignal. Are you really ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara, and big shout out to eSignal, which you could probably guess this, but when I look at my trade rate, Apple, BDTX is probably some small cap going nuts, Nvidia, Palantir, TQQs, Tesla, Intel, quantum names. Basically, all of the names that we're looking at are all the top of the list. Robinhood, interesting that it's there. I don't know BDTX. but I'm willing to guess that someone in our chat is probably looking at that name for sure. So since VWAP trend down on Intel, it either gets to 24 or it breaks this trend for an out. So that's the way I'm looking at this. And the fills have only been at VWAP for me. Apple, as we said, is pulling back in. Still hasn't caught a bid yet. Want to be patient with it. Let it catch a bit of a buyer as long as it either holds the volume weighted average price. The other place that you could find theoretical support, if it were to break that, would be yesterday's high. So yesterday's high, we're at 215. So if we get like 215, that'd be another spot to look for a bounce play on Apple. Up 1.8% into a week, 1.8% into a strong market, I should say, but double what the NASDAQ is so far on Apple. So that's the one I want to look for a bounce play because I haven't really given up on the short ideas. And then Rigetti, which I had mentioned, we want to short any kind of a pop into the 10 quarter. It's not really popping. See, remember Rigetti chart's acting up. It's 10 and a quarter, which is prior afternoon support levels that I want to work the short on. So either Apple, once it catches a bit off of VWAP, Intel breaks trend, we're out, gets to 24, we're taking profit. And that's about it, unless Mara wants to make its way down to 12, which it does not want to because Bitcoin's too strong.
Yeah.
I should cancel that bid. It's not going there.
I just keep on scalping in. We're frozen.
Oh, you're right. I'll get it. I'm in circle.
Yeah. Okay. So our quotes are down. Our quotes are down right now. So hopefully, you're gonna go into that live support.
I'm already
channel?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
So this is the thing. Now we're back up. But at the end of the day, I was just gonna say, like, you see Neil and I, when the quotes go down, like we just had, I guess maybe, I don't know what that was, a little bit of a hiccup there. Best thing to do then is like just go through your orders, make sure none of them have got filled or anything like that, and just try to, as calm as possible, get that support. So like me and Neil have our support channel up here for real trading. It's very, very active, and we can go over there right away and say there's a quote problem and then get that all figured out. So right there, it looks like we're back up and running now, so no, nothing on that right now. All right, man. DraftKings going for a run today. What do we think about this? Look at that. Nice little bump up there for DraftKings coming into $38. You don't necessarily want to short momentum into this play, but we've talked about things getting at highs and maybe getting to key levels. That's 38.10 right there as that high for DraftKings. So nice move up there, up 2% today.
March Madness bump.
Could be a March Madness bump, but I think with that happening literally tomorrow,
the playing games already. North Carolina.
I saw that last night.
Come on and raise up.
North Carolina's in a play-in game?
Well, no. So they have. It's different now because they used to only have play-in games for like the 16 seed.
Right.
But then now they have like a mid. It's kind of like a middle play-in for like I think it's an 11 seed.
What? They're just looking for.
Which they're a good squad, and I don't know. They're a talented squad.
We're frozen again.
Yeah. There's still some issues happening. So everybody, if you're at real trading, there is like intermittent like quote freezing. Execution is absolutely fine. I'm still getting fills and orders. My stops are still okay. So your trailing orders, all that stuff is good. It's just the quotes are coming in and out.
Okay.
Not too big of an issue. I do believe. Did I hear?
As long as our triggers are filling.
Yet. We'll let Brendan run past, and then we'll go over to Adara. I didn't need to say we'll let Brendan run past. But we just did, and now we'll go to Adara at the screen for.
It's behind the scenes, we're doing it live.
Well, he was like, "Do I go? Do I don't?"
Oh. All right, what's up, Adara? Oh, they're still saying we have quote issues?
Yeah.
Lots of sectors incredibly strong here, especially commercial services standing out to me right now. Pretty much all of the major names in this sector are very green. Producer manufacturing looking great as well. Consumer services, energy minerals, consumer durables led by a very nice move upside in Tesla. In terms of choppier sectors, health technology, Eli Lilly to the upside, but a lot of these other names, including Gilead, to the downside. Then we've got some weakness in consumer non-durables. Utilities a bit mixed with the exception of strength in Constellation Energy and the tech sectors we have to talk about because Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, all nicely green. In tech services, we also have a lot of strength here in Netflix and Oracle, though some of these other names, including Meta and Broadcom, a little bit flatter. So a little bit of divergence in the performance for these tech sectors, but generally a lot of these larger names are looking very nice today. Back to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, what a tale. See, this is the thing.
The strength in Apple's, it's not happening anymore.
Right. I was going to say there's really not much strength. in any of these big names right now, but thanks to Derek for that update, because this is the thing, it's a tale of two stories, right? Like, if you're looking at Nvidia, you're like, wow, man, Nvidia's up 1%, but it is just straight blood right here in Nvidia. It's actually down 1% in the last 30 minutes, right? And so that's the thing. As Apple continues to bleed, let's just check out what's going on with Google right now as well, down to 161. What levels did we write down? Okay, we have 159. So I think there's probably strength in this name. This looks like it's holding right now, but yeah, so it looks like we're probably back right now from our sort of our issues on quotes. The newest position for myself right here is going to be hopefully a fail with DraftKings. We just talked about that up into the levels, so we'll see if DraftKings wants to pull back. We do like 50-period moving averages, so that's going to be right around here right now for DKNG.
You know, I was having a thought about that stock.
Yeah.
I was in the last couple of days. Not days, but like last few weeks, I've been thinking about like what are stocks that can do better in a recessionary environment. My first thought was, what do you think of gambling stocks in that environment? Like, I think it goes both ways. Are people going to be more apt to, maybe if we have some issues in the labor market, are you going to have a situation where more people are dabbling, or because they're pulling back, do they have less discretionary income? I actually just don't know the answer to that question, and was sort of thinking about that one in my head as you brought that up. Just one note, I'm getting out of Intel at 24. I'm not going automatically long here, but this is starting to be a spot where I'm going to look for a reversion. As I said, where I want to look for a reversion. There's just been all kinds of supply at 24. So I want to respect the level. It's trying to bounce as we speak. I'm sitting right out in front of it. I haven't really gotten filled yet. I'm at 05s. But if we break trend, I'm out. If we get down and fill at 05, then I'm also out and going to look for a reversion trade. Doesn't mean I'm automatically going to get in. Apple's trying to hold. Like, it's got room under VWAP to 215. So if 215 holds, that's the prior day's highs, the last couple of sessions. So even if it doesn't hold VWAP, I still think it can make a bounce here off the 215 and show some kind of continued relative strength. But I'm not going to jump in and catch the falling knife. There hasn't been any strength whatsoever in this pullback on Apple yet. I still think we have a chance, because the market is the same story. Like, the NASDAQ is pulling back into prior highs. That would be a natural bounce spot. So let it get down there and then look for the bounce.
I was thinking maybe just about the futures pulling back into VWAP right there. I mean, some of these names like the Mag 7 and all that, just not really working out there. But yeah, this futures trade, we could get back into that right here at VWAP and then at the 200 period. So here we come, man, bleeding to the downside. The only trade that we have on right now is DraftKings short, which is 13 cents in the money. We'll wait to see if that can get a little bit lower than that. But right now, the TQ's at VWAP. What's up, Adara?
Q9, QUBT consolidating near lows of days and getting hit with a short report from J Capital, saying they view Qubit or QUBT here. This is quantum computing. They view this company as the worst of the quantum names. They could not find any revenue associated with their purchase orders, and they said many deals appear to be with undisclosed related parties. So I guess a little bit of skepticism about their deals and revenue process here, leading JCap to have this short for QUBT. Back to you.
Yeah, but I mean,
quantum's going to be that up and down. Like, people are always going to try to be smart about it, right?
They're not making money in these days.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know,
that's
you put
the
out
short
obvious
report, what everybody knows.
Yeah.
I don't know about. It's just weird. Usually it's like, we have found this or that.
Yeah.
Anyways,
it's like a new report. There it is. So we actually went to something new there. We take DraftKings. We get a little bit out at 60 right there. Or was it 61? I want to be exact. Yeah, 62, sorry. There on DraftKings as it does fall back in a little bit into that level. Look, we're waiting for lower than this. We do have our bids at 50s, 54 actually right here at the 50-period moving average. Then we'll see if this market really wants to bleed. But we just talked about maybe grabbing that TQQ there off of VWAP. I think that would be something, an interesting area to start. Again, just in case, right? I mean, just in case this market wants to go for a little bit of a run. We do have, we didn't get that fill there. Oh, that's too bad. We're trying to get 99s. All right, let's just punch one unit there at 03s. Now we'll see a weekend, or actually we got 04s. There it is. So there's the fill. I'm going to give this to the 200 period again. I know it's coming back in, and we don't necessarily want to chase falling knives or anything like that. But that's a good move already in the futures. We were up nice and high there. We did get stopped out of our Nvidia, which sucks because look at that. Now it's bouncing back. back, and I'm thinking like, oh yeah, you know, I've tried there, boom. That last one was basically the worst because, and it wasn't that big of a hit. We got 75s out at 50, so 25 cents right there, but we don't have any outs, which that was 25 cents. We were hoping that we'd get something at the 200 period, but we didn't. Just fell completely down right there when we had that last trade. Everything else, we're able to reload and get out of it, but this last one, no. Nvidia just says no thank you to getting out of that trade. We're hoping that, again, DraftKings can go down. We do have a starter position right now on the TQQs, hoping that we can get an upside move. It's 10 handles in the money now, but I would like to see 50 period, right? So right there, 25s. So let's put an offer up here at 61.25 or so. You know, well, we'll put it at 19s. We always like to wait a little bit ahead of some of the key levels that we're looking at. So a little bit ahead of that, we'll get it. Just like if you waited for VWAP, sure, you got it. But at the end of the day, you know, nothing wrong with taking a few trades a little early ahead of those levels. So let's wait to see there. We've reloaded back in the queues. We talked about liking the futures. They trade obviously pretty clean.
It's funny, you know what? It's funny you say that because taking trades a little bit early. I had this discussion with Brian Shannon last night when I missed the Mara because I was sitting at 12.12 and it went to 12.15. And instead of just, you know, just punch into like 17 or something with like less shares, I didn't. And then just now, similar thing on Intel. Like the reversion happened, so it bounced off 24 even. I'm going to get to some super chats and all that stuff in a second. But it bounced off 24 and then did this like crazy wick, which I didn't want to chase. So we got out of the short, but it was already up at 24.25 like really quickly. So might have missed that reversion trade. There's always a chance we could get VWAP for a short, but that's a miss on. We got out because we were sitting at 24.05 and we're able to cover the trade, but we didn't get the long reversion on that Intel. Shout out to Zabo in the chat. Loving the show and the honesty as per usual. Been wondering, do you ever use fib levels to chart potential moves? I can't say I have never used Fibonacci's. I've tried and dabbled with them. I've never used Fibonacci. Oh, sorry, my bad. We say Finabachis around here because of Sharif. No, I never had any success with them. Every time I tried them, I used to trade penny stocks a couple decades ago, and I just never had success with Fibonacci's. Now I'm saying it that way.
The Fibonacci king is over there. He's never going to get that let down.
If an indicator works for you, great. I think you try them out, find what fits for you. I tried it out, never had any success, so I don't use them. But I have nothing against them, and I will never speak badly against any indicator that you find works for you. I like simple moving averages and VWAP and volume, and I try to keep it that simple. But thank you, Zabo, for the super chat.
Yeah, was that a call for A? All right.
This is the US dollar, which does kind of look like it's either doing a bit of a bear flag or this hockey stick pattern that Sharif refers to. We have this push to the downside on the daily chart for the DXY, really starting, I think, more aggressively in February, though we've been in a downtrend all year. Then now we're seeing this consolidation, this chop and churn. Today's action, though, to the upside, actually taking out all of yesterday's selling. So let's see if we're able to make a higher high here on the USD. That would be a nice hold and close above that 104 level. The only economic data event of the day, as mentioned earlier, is going to be, without a doubt, the FOMC meeting. That's going to be coming through at 2 p.m. We get a rate decision from Fed Chair Jerome Powell and team. But in terms of other economic data to watch out for tomorrow, we do get the Philly Fed Business Index and some existing home sales data. Then on Friday, it's a really light day, but we have some comments from Fed's Williams. Now let's take a look here at the CME Fed Watch tool for probably the last time ahead of the meeting. 99% of participants expecting we will not get a rate cut or a rate change. That's what we expected. A tiny sliver, 1%, expecting that we could get a 25 basis point cut. Now, if you go ahead to May here, just take a look, we're actually seeing a really distinct difference. The last time we looked at the CME Fed Watch tool, I believe on Monday, 24% of participants were expecting a 25 basis point cut. That number has been cut to 16% of participants. We still have 0.2% expecting a 50 basis point cut. But generally, once again, for May, it looks like the overwhelming majority of participants are expecting we're not going to get a rate change. Let's see if that ends up coming to fruition, starting with today's meeting in just about 3 hours now, guys. Back to you.
All right, thanks,
rule number one, if Amazon is looking at potentially getting into your game, you're going to go down a little bit. So Carvana dropping through VWAP and losing about $3 here on a Auto News saying Amazon eyes used car sales. Yeah, man. What do you think? What does Amazon do to everyone? What do they do to the what do they do to the pharmas? They just crush everybody. So Carvana, which, I mean, let's just say its chart's been detached from reality for some time, but it's already pulled back almost 50% here. And this one could get into some trouble. Look at the daily, losing the 200 period moving average recently. And if you lose 164 on Carvana, anything is possible to the upside and the downside on the stock as far as I'm concerned. So I would just leave it at that. But bit of a news story here on Amazon and Carvana. Clearly, it's not going to move Amazon that much, I don't think, but Carvana for sure. So with the market still trying to pull back, Apple, it's above 215. And it's got a very clean trend down. If it can reverse this trend, that's a poorly drawn trend line. I'll have to redraw that in a second. But if it can break this trend, then I want to still look for a long as it's above that 215 level. But there just has been no curl in the stock yet. That's a little bit of a better fit. If we can hold 15, break this trend at any point, I want to look for a reversion long. Intel, I think we'll just reshort it if it gets to VWAP. That hasn't really changed. And Rigetti, it might change things for me what I think about Rigetti after that short seller report on QBTS. Because I have the opposite sort of thinking. Like, you give me a short seller report, and I'm thinking that's their exit liquidity to a certain extent, and can it bounce off a support level, which is 950 on QBTS, and then Rigetti, I believe, was actually the same price. That can't be right. Both, it is, it's true. So, 950 on both those two stocks just happens to be a support level. That's sometimes annoying because then you might mix up which one you're in. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, this has been, quite the morning where we had a huge move up, and then now retracing all the way back to VWAP right now is the futures. And again, this is like, so it's not a bar-coded morning, that's for sure, because you make that move higher. But then if you look at where we're coming back into, that's the whole point of VWAP. It's the volume-weighted average price. So we're just like, we're right here right now again, basically where we opened. I mean, this is 8:30 or 9:30 right there. So we're just where we opened. We did make that move down to 19.7. We recovered 200 handles up to 19.9. And now here we go again. We'll try the futures down here. All right, let me just call up the futures chart just quickly for you. So we're light into it now. We are going to buy this. If we can get something at 60s, we'll buy it. The bid I have in here is 61s. So if we can get a 61 fill, that'll be a more serious position for us on the futures. And then I'm just going to give it into that break right here that we sort of supported before, 60.50. So a break below that, the stop order's in right now. So what started out as a really good morning for us on Nvidia, especially when we thought it was going to go, it just completely stopped at that pre-market high. So there's the down, there's the up, there's the stop, and here's the drop. So we'll wait to see what winds up happening with Nvidia and the futures as we just missed that long right there. Well, we're at 61. It went to 69. Our average price right now, 90s. So not a great average here in the futures, but that's okay. We'll wait to see what winds up happening there. The thing that we talk about lately, because we do have the menu, is let's talk about what's for lunch, because again, another very, very popular segment that we have here. So today, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. That's right. I'll get it right at some point.
Day.
Yeah, Fed Day Wednesday. So today for that, not bad. Feels like this is a little bit more of a festive moment for the fall and winter, but we have oven roasted turkey. That should be pretty good there with roasted baby potatoes, butternut squash, and a chef salad. So
usually turkey's more of a holiday thing.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I just said. Like, it just feels more festive.
You know what? We pride ourselves on keeping it real. That's what the show is about. I think turkey is incredibly overrated.
Yeah, it's dry.
It's dry. There's no chance that it's anyone's go-to white meat or just in general. It's okay. I understand, Sharif. I was about to say that it is a very healthy, lean source of protein, so I get it. If I get a sub, a lot of times I like the turkey breast for the healthy, but like it's just not. It's not my thing.
We're talking about taste.
Yeah, I'm talking about taste here. Like, come on. There's like every other meat that I would rather have from a taste perspective. And I know you celebrate with turkey. I'm like, why wouldn't you celebrate with the thing you enjoy the most? Like my dad,
Celebrate with trading?
He loves salmon, so if he's cooking on a holiday, then we're having salmon because that's the thing that he loves. I think that's what you should do. Nothing against turkey. We just closed the buff. We'll see if this actually holds the prior bar low because actually, you know what? I got in too early here. This did not close. Rule break, get out. Apple did not close above trend. It broke the trend, but like it wicked above, but it did not close above. So I'm just going to jump out because that's an impatient entry as far as I'm concerned. I want to see it. And I know exactly why I did it.
What?
Because when Intel broke the trend, I didn't get it. So you're like, oh, you're anticipating the move instead of actually seeing the confirmation. So if we close above the trend line, then I will jump into Apple. We got about a minute left to go, and then the midday is going to come on where we got the learn to trade, where we have the boys. But if there's any names that you guys are that we haven't covered, I don't want to say I promise you. I always say this. There's a high probability that some of those small cappers that we haven't really been looking at are going to get covered. But I'm just eyeballing the trend break on Apple at this point. Maybe we can get a pop to get short Intel again. Though with this market coming down, it's just not happening at the moment. And then Zai saying, can you look at Tesla at VWAP? What, Tesla's at VWAP now? Find that surprising. Yeah, Tesla's just barcoding. You know what? Tesla wasn't on the list today, and it's still not on the list. Like, what are we doing, Tesla? It's not moving. Like, look at Apple. Like, look at Apple versus Tesla today. Apple's moving. Tesla's not moving, so I don't really want to trade it. I think a break on Apple, this trend, can get you $1 right quick. So, yeah, Apple over Tesla, whether it actually gives me this reversion or not, only time will tell, I guess, is the best point. But I can't figure out why Tesla's not moving much today. It just isn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not at the right levels. I think that's why it wasn't on anybody's radar to start with here today. So DraftKings and the futures is what we'll leave you with right now. Futures right at this level, which is why we're trying to buy these dips right into here right now. If it gets going, great, but I mean, it's not really looking that strong as the momentum's back in. Remember, Fed Chair Powell coming through at 2 o'clock, which means we'll probably be back on the air a little bit earlier, maybe 1:50 or so. And I assume that's what we normally do. So we'll wait for that day well, the day is here, but we'll wait for that time to see you guys again. But for now, again, thanks for watching. I got that short on. Neil's positions, I guess, are gone, but what's the position you have right now? Nothing?
I'm flat. The only thing I'm looking at imminently is Apple, this trend break, which has been since 10 o'clock. It's been trending down for an hour. Apple's been trending down. So I'm looking for the trend break here.
Yeah. I think trend trading probably pretty good here today as we'll wait to see. Trade the weak names short, the strong names long as we'll wait for 2 p.m. Okay, good Joe today.
Yeah, Joe's ready.
And yeah, Joe is ready. So let's go, man. Sharif's wearing the red. So
it's white.
I don't know. We'll have to figure that out right now. Yeah, we'll have to figure. Well, we'll have to sort that out. But no, thank you so much again for watching. It's been a good one. Let's throw it over to the boys. We'll see you at 1:50 or so.
Yes, really. Cool. Boom! What is